Today, the schedule is released, and today's a holiday as well because I get to try to figure out John Kincade's W's and L's. We'll get to that later on the show. First hour, we just react. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
There were a lot of people that were just immediately down and out with this team. There was the wake me up come playoff time people. There were the people that just don't believe because they think come playoff time it's going to be same old, which is when the bats go cold.
40 games into the season, the two best years we've had in the last three, we thought the team was a mess at the 40-game mark.
Yeah.
This team's not a mess. The starting pitching, I would argue with you, is clearly the best of the last 4 years.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Well, after yesterday's game 2, that intro, game 1, that intro was perfect because of Jesus Luzardo. Game 2 with Mr. There's another home run, Nola. Doesn't fit so well this morning, Johnny.
I've always been a believer in it. If you don't have Jesus in your life, you're probably lost as an individual when times get tough. This Phillies rotation needed Jesus.
Hell yeah, they did.
Because do you know this morning, a little stat to get you started.
Yeah, sure. I love stats.
Do you know that the Phillies have the worst fifth starter with at least 9 starts? The Phillies have the worst fifth starter in baseball in Aaron Nola. The worst.
Just last week, they had the best. Or third best, didn't you say?
Yeah, but if you take as Aaron Nola being the fifth starter, the Phillies have the worst fifth starter. So the Aaron Nola apologists who love to hammer off just give Aaron Nola time, he's fine, and everything's okay.
Funny, I just responded to one literally as we were opening the show because I once again tweeted out his contract, and somebody goes, bookmarked. And all I said was I'm having a great time. I didn't say cut him, release him, trade him. I didn't say any of that stuff. Just having a great time watching the $24 million man give up home run after home run after home run, much like yesterday. But that's not the lead story of the day, Johnny. Our grousing of Aaron Nola will happen later on in the show today.
I'm glad you have it penciled in because...
it's penciled in. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff penciled in.
We got a lot to say.
Dude, there's so much going on in Philadelphia sports, like either sneaky or right there in front of you, right? The Flyers hired a head coach yesterday, which we'll talk about. Rick Tocchet hired to be the next head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. The Eagles' schedule obviously gets released. The Phillies doubleheader. So all that stuff's right in front of you. But then there's some other stuff that I saw over the course of this week that we haven't gotten to yet. And I can't wait to just have a lot of fun with you guys today. It's going to be a fun show here on Kincade and Salciunas. And the fun begins reacting to the release of the NFL schedule and, of course, your Philadelphia Eagles. And we now know, even though we knew well before 8 o'clock.
I knew in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday. I knew the entire schedule.
The entire schedule was either announced by networks or leaked. And I know the NFL was trying to do something different this year. Jeff McClain said the league was trying to make sure that people weren't leaking stuff. That Art Stapleton guy that had the Giants-Eagles Week 6.
He had it out first, the Giants schedule.
He had the entire Giants schedule out by 1 o'clock.
And by the way, Klein College alumni Chase Senior.
Yes, I saw that.
Had it first.
Yeah.
Had the Eagles' entire schedule first.
Actually, I saw him second.
Who had it first?
I don't know. A podcaster. I got to give the guy a lot of credit. I'll try to find it.
Really?
I got to give the guy a lot of credit.
I had Chase with it first.
Because I clicked the time, and then I saw another one a half hour earlier. But whatever. Whoever had it first. Who's on first, who's on second.
That's awesome.
The Eagles schedule comes out. And look, it's a wild schedule. And before anybody they're trying to screw over the Birds.
Oh, my gosh.
None of that is happening.
I didn't find that at all.
I saw, and look, here's our topic right away. I'll throw the topic out there. Did you get any sort of instant reaction or instant feeling from the schedule? Worry, confidence, excitement, whatever. Whatever that initial wave of emotion that you got when you went through it, did you feel any sort of type of way? And it's amazing, John. I get it. We do this job daily, so we follow things religiously, right?
Yes.
So we've known the opponents.
Right.
There were people that did not know the opponents until yesterday. And I saw people on social media. Who are
they that didn't know them?
People on social media.
Then they're just casual fans. They're not real fans.
Maybe, or maybe they just don't like my dad, who loves football, right? When I was on the phone with him 2 days ago, I was talking about the opener with the Cowboys. He didn't realize it was Thursday.
He didn't know that the game was going to be on a Thursday?
He thought it was like Sunday night.
Okay.
I was like, Dad, the team that wins the Super Bowl over the last 20 years has been opening the season.
He didn't remember that from the last time?
I guess not.
Okay.
And my dad, he's at the Elks 3 hours before every game, getting ready. He's the old school, okay, go Birds. They stink in the first quarter, but they're the best team ever when they win the football game.
Opening game, he's going to be in, there's going to be trouble.
He's going to be frothing, right? Like he's ready to go.
He's Brendan Gunn in 30 years.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. So there's a lot of people that didn't realize the opponents, and so they're looking at the schedule going, oh, man, they're making this thing hard for the Eagles. Like,
I didn't get that at all.
Listen, people don't understand why they're in Tampa again. Like, there's reasons behind the schedule year in and year out.
You could say, though, first, per Jeff Kerr, first defending Super Bowl champion to not have back-to-back home games.
And that's one of the crazy things about this schedule.
I'm not in the least bit. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't mean like you also don't have the 3 straight road games.
Right.
Like they've had in other years. Or like, I don't care. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me.
And you're only traveling out west, what, once? With the Chargers?
You do the Chargers trip.
Yeah, that's one time.
I mean, I didn't in any way feel that this schedule, like I'm going, oh my gosh, that's terrible. And I sort of like how everything's spaced out.
I do too.
I
love it, man.
I sort of feel that everything is spaced out pretty nicely.
And a couple other notes, like 6 1:00 games.
I love that.
God bless you, NFL.
That felt
as my
good.
alarm went off at 4:00 in the morning, and I was a little sleepy because I didn't go to bed till like 10:30, which is going to be the norm for some of these games. I appreciate the 1:00 start. 6 of them. I was actually kind of amazed at 6.
Yeah, that was surprising. Like, I can't believe the Rams game is a 1:00 game.
There were games
that shocked me.
When those games that came out initially, they were all national primetime games, and then all of a sudden, 1:00, 1:00. Don't we have 3 straight 1:00s? Week 3, 4, 5 are all 1:00 games.
And I mean, to me, there is no way that I thought the Rams game was going to be a 1:00 game.
Yeah, especially with all the buzz that followed that playoff game.
And of course, I think if you open up your house, whatever way your house faces west, you can hear Sean McVay's whiny voice. You can hear him going, still, yeah, if it hadn't been for the snow, we feel it would have been a maybe different outcome.
Yeah, 5 of those 1:00 games are the first 8 games, and then the last 8, or 9, I should say. Only
the one game,
yeah.
and then the last
the
week.
Raiders game.
But last year, I gave you something. I gave you something on schedule release day.
I know, and you're going to give it in the next segment.
And I am.
John,
I'm
because
give it to
you have a bold prediction already. That
it's bold and beautiful.
He texted me it yesterday, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I had something for you last year, and it came true, and it's going to come true again. But I like this schedule. I saw people having angst about it yesterday. I don't
Well,
feel
that's what I want to try to figure out.
I don't feel any of it.
I want to try to figure that out with to me, yesterday is a day of celebration where I don't even get angst, right? Like, I get it. The gauntlet 3 seasons ago now, or 2 seasons ago now, was terrifying when it came out, and it sort of played to fruition. They ended up going, 3-3 during that gauntlet, but we know that the back half of that 3-3 was the beginning of the demise for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't get that sense when I get this, but there were a lot of people, to your point, that had angst. So,
yesterday, why I was shocked at the people going, why are we going to Tampa again? That's like a formula.
Yeah,
there's a formula to the schedule.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can. It depends on where you finish.
I think the playoff game a few years ago adds to that because
I think so.
They went to two playoff games in Tampa in the last 5 years.
3 years. I think it was 3. Well, let me see.
4. Well, the
4 years.
2021.
Right.
The Jalen Hurts first season as the starter, and then the collapse year.
The collapse.
Those are 2 playoff games in Tampa.
Yeah, so that was 23.
Yes.
Collapse year. So it was 2 and 3 years.
So, what I want to hear from you, it's 610-632-0975. Did you get any sort of instant reaction when it comes to the schedule? Could be a lot of confidence, which I think we're kind of.
I'm not in the least bit. I don't have any big concerns about the schedule.
Is this back-to-back years where we're the beacon of light? There was a guy on social media yesterday that was like, "You guys were ready to jump off the ship."
What?
Were you listening to the show? Can
Seriously.
we not rewrite history? This show was the beacon of light for the Eagles
No.
since the schedule release.
I was getting called a pom-pom shaker.
My God,
I
stop
told you.
rewriting history.
Seriously. I'm telling you.
God. Anyways, we'd love to hear from you. 610-632-0975. But John Kincade already has a bold prediction for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Do you remember the bold prediction last year?
NFC title game.
Should have taken it to the bank. If you didn't, take this one to the bank. Coming up.
It's Kincade and Salciunas on this Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
Sullivan inside. Godbury back.
I'm all one today, Johnny. This is great. Eagles schedule comes out yesterday, and I'm fired up because I have this year's formula to try to get John Kincaid's W's and L's.
to get me to do the stupidest thing that's done in sports radio. No. There are Mount Rushmores
Yes, that's true.
where your hosts have done no show prep and they just say, well, we're going to do a Mount Rushmore show and just run callers.
Well,
And let callers just call up and just fill time.
here's what we'll do. When we're still working together 15 years from now,
Oh, hell no.
we'll do the Mount Rushmore of the ways I got you to do W's and L's.
You maybe got if you're lucky, you got 3 or 4 times to try this again. If you're lucky.
All right, so last year,
God knows.
John Kincade had a bold prediction the
On
day
schedule
after
release
the
day.
schedule was released.
Yeah.
And once more, we say it jokingly, but at the same time, it kind of bothers me when people try to rewrite history. Oh, you Philly media, you're always so negative. Because sometimes we react to negative moments, like Nick Sirianni having
I was very negative the day of the Cleveland press conference the next day.
a mental
On him.
breakdown.
He looked like a dope. And it was stupid. And by the way, he had a breakfast meeting the next morning with his boss.
Brandon Graham, for whatever reason, just outing personal potential
laundry.
beefs between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown.
Not potential.
Yeah.
No, it was dirty laundry.
And then it being reported that he had to address the team.
yes.
And Nick Sirianni said on mic that he addressed the team because he felt like it was necessary.
Yes.
And so because we reacted to these negative storylines, we then tried tearing the team down, and that means we didn't think that they were going to win anything.
Some dope flew a plane, spent his money to fly a plane, trying to make it seem like that was all made up.
And there are people that bought into it.
Even though Brandon Graham admitted to it, Nick Sirianni had a team meeting about it.
It's unbelievable.
For God's sakes, folks, head out of the sand. Ostriches is ostriches
Yes.
put their head in the sand?
Yeah, they put the head in the sand.
Okay, they put their head in the sand.
So we were the beacons of light. And it
Yes.
started with you when you said the day after the schedules were released that we will have plans on the NFC Championship date, which was January the 26th. I still remember.
And I told you that you guys were going to have a NFC title game pregame show.
And that we
Now,
did.
I didn't make any more predictions than that.
Yes.
I looked at it and I
'Cause
said,
you're a bit of a coward.
the Eagles are going to be a Final Four team.
Yeah.
And by the way, now people weren't joining me. People weren't joining me.
Oh, no, you got attacked.
I got attacked. I got mocked.
Pom-pom shaker.
Oh, I was getting mocked.
Green-colored glasses.
I was getting mocked.
All kinds of stuff. And
And-
then all of a sudden the history's rewritten where it was, no, I always thought they were going to be good. You guys were the ones that...
You people are turning against us. Well, no. Nobody's being turned
It was
against.
amazing. The world was upside down last year. So what's your bold prediction this year?
So I'm giving it to you right off the bat today. And Haley, Bill Colarulo said the other day when I take my glasses off, it makes it more dramatic.
Oh,
So I'm taking my glasses off.
here we go. I feel like we're watching One Tree Hill or one of your stupid shows.
General Hospital's not stupid.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. I didn't mean to offend.
Neither is the Young and the Restless. My bold prediction for the 2025 Eagles season. Everybody is clutching their pearls over the fact that they play the Commanders twice in the last 3 weeks.
Which is weird.
And Buffalo in the middle of it. I'm here to tell you, Week 18 for the Eagles will mean nothing against the Commanders at home. Do not put all your eggs into buying tickets to the Commanders game because the Commanders will not live up to expectations this year. Week 18 will not be for the division title. And the Eagles will be resting starters getting ready for their playoff run. So if you're worried about Week 18, when you're picking that one game you want to load up on to buy your tickets for, do not make it Week 18 because Week 18, the Eagles will be resting starters. Book it. I told you last year to do something, and if you listen to me, it was smart.
You hear that pen click?
You writing it down?
I think I feel comfortable saying that you will have an L Week 18 because the starters will be sitting.
Telling you right now.
And I believe I can make the assumption that you will have a plus 500 record for the Eagles and in the playoffs as I try to figure out John's W's and L's for
You
the
can try to
2025
you can try to decipher it.
I have like a legitimate formula today to get your W's and L's. And you've brought this upon yourself, is all I'll say. But I'm not doing that yet. Coming up next, how much did last season change the way how you feel about the schedule release? If you remember, The start of the season was supposed to be easy last year, and it wasn't. The Week 5 bye was scary. It was the best thing in the world for them. Have your reactions changed at all because of what played out last year for the Birds? It's Kincade and Salciunas on this Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Flyers get their coach. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Flyers' search for their new head coach came to an end yesterday when the team hired Rick Tocchet to fill that role. Tocchet spent 11 years of his playing career here in Philadelphia, and now he returns to coach his former team. Tocchet comes to Philly with 9 years of coaching experience, including the last 3 coaching the Vancouver Canucks, where he won the Jack Adams Award Trophy, the NHL Coach of the Year just 2 seasons ago. A new challenge awaits him here with the Flyers as the team looks to continue their rebuild. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday against the Cardinals. Jesus Luzardo got the win in Game 1 with another great outing, and then the team was on their way to a win early in Game 2 until Aaron Nola fell apart. Nola went 3 2/3 innings, allowed 9 earned runs on 12 hits. Not the best for Nola yesterday. The Phils have an off day today before hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend. And we now know the road to a repeat for the Birds as the official schedule came out last night. And we won't have much time to ramp up this season. The first 4 games are against the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Buccaneers. And it doesn't get that much easier after that. So we'll keep an eye on that all morning long here on Kincade Salciunas. This update was brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. Wendy's Breakfast, 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles. You can choose the pair you want at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. So obviously, schedule release days become a holiday. Well, it was always a holiday, but now it's become like a damn festival because of the way the teams announce their schedules, even though we knew the Eagles' schedule well before it actually dropped around 8 o'clock.
I knew everything by, let me see.
Yeah, you said during the first game of the doubleheader.
It was the fourth inning. I knew the whole schedule.
Yeah.
I was driving my dad nuts last night. I was with him for dinner. I was like, yeah, I know like the whole Eagles schedule. I was telling him all this, and he tried to Google it on his phone. He's like, it's not coming up on Google yet.
And you're like, yeah, because the reporters are the ones that are putting it out there.
Come on, Dad.
So all the teams are now doing like videos. The Eagles one was cool for us.
I thought it was mid.
Yeah,
Mid.
It was cool because it was
compared to the rest of the NFL.
Dude, the Seahawks. Did you see that one, Shunas?
Is that the one with the Philadelphia singer?
Oh, dude, it's a
Carpenter. What's her name? Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter.
No, dude, it's a '90s toy commercial, and it's so cool. It'd be cool for me and you, like guys our
really?
age.
Oh, I gotta check it
Well,
out.
Sabrina Carpenter's a Philly girl.
Yeah, I know, but I thought they did something with her too. Okay,
They may have, but the one I saw was a '90s toy commercial.
I gotta
and it
check
was
that out.
awesome.
Sabrina Carpenter's mom, I've met her. Very nice lady.
Oh, that's nice.
She is a Eagles fan.
Yeah, I know. She wears Phillies gear.
And she is an Eagles fan.
Go
Sabrina's
Birds,
an
man.
Eagles fan.
Hell yeah.
She better not have done something for another NFL team.
No, the team took videos from her performances. She didn't do anything for them.
Wow.
Allen Iverson did. For the Bills.
For the what?
For the Bills.
Why?
All he did. So it was actually kind of funny. Josh Allen got the phone call from the GM or whatever, and they said, hey, how should we announce the schedule? And Josh Allen goes, I don't know, just get AI. And the guy didn't know artificial intelligence, so he contacted Allen Iverson. So all Allen Iverson did was he held up a piece of paper with the schedule on it, and then they said, can you say go Bills? And he goes, nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I'm fine with that.
But the Titans one was
he got paid for it.
I'm sure he did. The Titans one was the best one. And John didn't see it. I just told him about it.
No, but that's great because the Titans are great.
I need you to
have not
watch
seen it yet.
I need you guys to watch it during the next break.
The Titans are a creative organization. They do a great job every year.
They didn't do the Nashville,
typical
thing.
one. What's the logos?
They did Schedule Rizzy, like Sky Rizzy, the medical.
That's funny.
Like an ad.
And it's hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
And then when they went through like the side effects and some of the bowel issues that you may have, that's when they announced the Cleveland Browns. It's actually genius. So yeah, the Titans do a really
great.
good job.
That's good work.
They're not a good football team by any means.
But they know how to do it.
But great social media team.
I got a Colts one coming up for you guys at 8:15.
Oh, today's headlines with Brendan Gunn. Love that. All right, so how did last year change how you feel about a schedule being released in any way? Or does it? Or do you not make much of the schedule coming out to begin with? Like, I know we obviously break it down, right? We do this for a living.
Sure.
But like last year, when the Week 5 bye came out, that was a legitimate concern throughout the entire Philadelphia area because we know how early buys can hurt a team. Remember Bill was doing all the stats about when you play this many games in a row.
Which didn't mean a thing.
They ultimately did it. Now,
at the time, Bill and I were arguing about it, and I was telling him it didn't mean a thing.
But
didn't mean anything.
We all, I think, have the same feeling that we would rather not have a Week 5
No, we would
bye.
rather not have it, but it didn't mean a thing.
Correct.
No team had won the Super Bowl and had their bye then. It didn't mean a thing.
Right.
That's a useless stat. When you have your bye, it doesn't matter about you winning a Super Bowl. It does not matter. But it's just one of those stats that is a random event that happens.
So seeing Week 9
loved it.
Yeah, me too. But again, last year was Week 5 and it ended up being the best thing for them because that's when they changed the offense.
Because they needed it. They needed a regroup last year because after 2 creams, 1 sugar, last year they literally came out of the gate, I think, running an offense that was, let's just say, not suited for Jalen Hurts. It wasn't suited for him.
Right.
And they literally had to have a player mutiny. And that's what they did. They had player mutiny during the bye week, and it worked out well.
Best Week 5 bye in the history of the NFL.
And that to me is fantastic. That's great. That was absolutely awesome. And by the way, I give Nick Sirianni all the credit in the world for listening.
Yes.
I give the offensive line all the credit in the world for going to the table and arguing it. And it worked out beautifully.
Yeah, that shows that they have a good culture, that they can go into Nick Sirianni's office during a bye week, right, and talk.
When you have a boss who says, well, my door's always open. But you have a boss that when the door is open and you walk in and they actually listen to you. I've had bosses with the door's always open.
Yeah.
And then you walk in and the boss is so defensive.
Yep.
That it doesn't mean anything.
Or not right now. I'm too busy.
The door's open, but the minute you get in, their dukes are up.
Yeah.
And it's
whereas
not,
our boss now, Scott's like, yeah, come on in.
Yeah, come on in.
Let's sit and talk.
Let's see what you got to say.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
have at it.
Well, maybe more important than where the Eagles' bye is itself this year. They're only playing one team coming off their bye this year, per Jimmy Kempski, the Vikings.
See, that helps a lot.
Because 2 years ago...
And the Vikings will be coming off 2 international games. They play 2 international games, and it's back on American soil. They get the bye week, and then they're back on international
2 years ago, not to make any excuses for the collapse. Not to make any excuses, because that was horrible. It was wretched. We lived through it. It was painful. Didn't they play all 3 straight weeks where a team was either off their bye or 10 days rest?
They did that. They did have a lot of those type of situations.
And it was 3 straight weeks.
And the 49ers had a lot of situation where it was exactly the opposite.
Right, where they were playing 10 days rest or post-bye week against teams that were playing on short rest.
I think what last year proved you, though, is there's a lot of things that people will say about the schedule, and will go, well, history will tell you. History threw it out the window last year.
Yeah.
It's not like the bye week. It doesn't matter where your bye week is. If you're a great team, you can win the Super Bowl. If you play well, you can win the Super Bowl.
Now, I can love certain things about the bye week.
I love that
the
it's in
fact
the
that
middle.
you're coming out against the Packers, who were a playoff team last year.
Yep.
I know we'll see who the Packers are this year, but you're coming out of the bye week playing the Packers, and to Brennan's point, the Packers will not be coming off of a bye, so you'll be a little bit more refreshed. And then you play the Lions the week after that. So I love that it's Packers-Lions after a bye week.
Do you like that? Do you like where you're playing the Chiefs? You get the opening game, and then you're going to the Chiefs, so you get a little bit of extra rest. Even though the Chiefs play, the Chiefs play pretty quick.
They play, because they play Friday. They play the Sao Paulo game.
Yeah, but they play Friday,
right?
But then they travel,
and they have to travel back. Yeah.
So they're in a total disadvantage to the Eagles. The Eagles play at home, and I'm sure Nick Sirianni will give them Friday and Saturday off.
Yeah, probably.
And then, so they'll be a totally different, rested, relaxed team than the Chiefs are going to be.
I do think the first 5 weeks is tough.
I don't think it is.
Well, I look at it this way. Division rival week 1, you should beat the Cowboys, 7-point favorites. Division rival week 1, and then 4 straight playoff teams. Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, Broncos.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Broncos at home. I'm not worried about that. To me, I think the schedule falls really nicely out of the gate. I think it falls really nicely. I'm not I really don't mind how everything spaces out. The opponents are really bad. I think the NFC, I think coming out of the bye week, the Green Bay Lions Dallas stretch, Green Bay Lions Dallas 10th, 16th, 23rd.
Yeah.
To me, that's the worst stretch of the season.
But at least you're coming out of the bye.
But it's the worst stretch of the year to me. That is a Monday, a Sunday, and then you're coming back on a Sunday.
Wow, I just realized Packers Monday night post-bye, so now you're getting an even
longer week.
Even extra.
To me,
my God.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna be sad. We're gonna miss the Eagles at that point, man.
I don't think it's a bad schedule at all. I heard people grousing about it.
No, I don't. I didn't get
disagree.
that. I didn't get that at all. There were a lot of people nervous on the timeline yesterday. So here's the deal. We'd love to hear from you at 610-632-0975. Text in or call in. It's the same phone number. Next segment, we check it for the first time. What was your reaction when the schedule came out yesterday? Did you get any sort of emotional feel, positively or negatively, when you saw that schedule yesterday? Also, before we get to your reaction, the Cowboys have a ton of primetime games, per usual. Colin Cowherd, John, may have had the best reaction to it. You'll hear that next as Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We want to hear... reaction when you saw the schedule yesterday? Did you get any sort of reaction of confidence, or like we saw on social media, and we're amazed by it, back-to-back years where we are the beacons of light, Johnny, there was a lot of concern. Now, I do believe a lot of people, not the majority, but a lot of people don't realize that the opponents come out in what? When do the opponents come out?
The opponents come out from the day the season ends, and you know where you finish in the standings.
Yeah, so in January.
So the last day of the season, when you know the Eagles have finished first, and everybody has finished, when you know where everybody else finishes in their divisions.
Yeah.
You know the opponents. It's already done.
And there were people that saw the opponents, I think, for the first time yesterday and were like, wow, this is really tough. And, yeah, we knew that. Now, maybe it's the ordering. Maybe it's the non-back-to-back games that freaked people out. I don't know.
I don't mind not having a home stand. Like, to me, I don't mind the home games being spaced out at all.
It's just weird. It's just weird to me.
It's weird.
It's not that I'm scared. It's just that I'm weirded out by it.
The 2 years they've gone to the Super Bowl, 22 and 24 recently, the schedule was backloaded with a bunch of easier games where they were able to rest people and things like that. I heard Connor in the afternoon show talking yesterday with Ricky and Silvana, and they were discussing it, and Andrew DeCecco was even in with them. And it was the idea of, well, they've been able to rest people down the stretch. I made the call this morning. I'm telling you right now, Week 18, the Eagles will not be sweating out the division Week 18. So if that helps you with your W's and L's, it doesn't tell you if they're going to win that game or not, by the way.
I know.
But it does tell you that I do not believe the Commanders are going to be what everybody else in the world and the TV executives think they're going to be.
I agree with you.
And I believe that is a completely overvalued stock.
I've been saying that they are going to take a step back since. Remember when I noticed that the contracts were all one-year deals? I was like, wait a minute. They're going to lose so many players.
Everybody talks about them as if they're next up. Their average age is older than the Eagles.
Yeah, I know. It's
Their
amazing.
average age is significantly. They
don't have a weapon on offense that's younger than 29.
They're a 12-win team last year, catching everybody by surprise. And I want to remind you, yesterday, I did that just for giggles because the Aaron Nola start was not for giggles.
Yeah, no, it was not.
I went back and I was reading, I love to go back and word search, last year's schedule release day. And I actually watched some of the videos from schedule release night.
Yeah.
And what they were talking about. And they were like, well, the NFL had to find a way to get Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud onto the big stage because this is what's next. These guys are top 5 guys in the NFL, and they're coming.
And it fell apart quickly.
What happened to C.J. Stroud? C.J. just threw another interception this morning. I mean, last year at this time, this morning, after the schedules came out, everybody was talking about, wow, got to have the Texans on more primetime games. Got to have Green Bay on more primetime games. Green Bay didn't beat a team better than them all year long.
Yeah.
All year.
It's amazing.
So, I mean, what we think we know, I would tell you that for the Washington Commanders, I think they're an overvalued stock, and I don't believe that they're going to be playing for the division title the last week of the year in Philadelphia.
Now, one thing I will make note of, because you mentioned you don't mind a home stand and the travel and all that.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Something we did celebrate when the schedule came out last year.
Okay.
And knowing how it played out obviously may impact our thought process here.
Okay.
After that Rams game, you barely had to travel. Baltimore.
Oh, no, yeah, you had it.
Home against the Panthers, home against the Steelers, quick trip to D.C., home against the Cowboys, home against the Giants.
Okay, December 9th. You're home the morning of December 9th because you played December 8th, Monday Night Football. The morning of December 9th, you'll arrive probably like 5 a.m. in Philadelphia on a red eye. They'll come back here on a luxury jet. You play the Raiders the 14th. You play the Commanders where they take the train down to D.C. You play the Buffalo Bills.
Which isn't that much
of a... That is a short jaunt.
Good point.
Short jaunt. And then you play a home game against the Commanders. There's no travel concerns. And if you look at it back a little bit, you play the Thanksgiving weekend, you're playing Black Friday against the Bears. There isn't a ton of travel. After the Green Bay game, you're traveling to Dallas and you're traveling to LA.
Yeah, that's a good point, John.
I mean, after the bye week, you're really not. The trip to Dallas is nothing.
This is why you're logical, John.
I'm very logical, and I don't see I don't see the stress of this schedule that other people are seeing.
Now, speaking of the Cowboys,
Yes, sir.
let's see. They play
I can't get over this, by the way.
6 games, 8 p.m. or later. 6. They are America's Game of the Week on Fox. Let's see here. 3 times. And then they are the CBS main game 2 times. So that is
I don't understand
11
it.
games on national television for the Dallas Cowboys.
Did you see the end of the season schedule for Dallas?
Wow, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants. That's
Are you kidding me?
It's a tough stretch.
I think
man.
the Cowboys are going to be out of it.
They could be.
And they're going to be, and the NFL schedule makers are going to go, what? Well, we oversold the Cowboys and the commodes.
Well, flexing might play a part with the Cowboys. But
Could be.
Here was Colin Cowherd yesterday reacting to all the nationally televised games that the Cowboys were scheduled to be on, and his analogy was perfect.
Cowboys are in the opener at Philly, a game they never win. In fact, if you go look at those games, the Cowboys are 1-5 in their last 6 against Philadelphia. I don't need to see that game. That feels like November. Then they have the Cowboys against Kansas City on Thanksgiving. I don't need to see that either. Andy Reid and Mahomes against Dak off a second surgery and Brian Schottenheimer doesn't scream fascinating. And the only thing keeping the Cowboys TV numbers up is networks putting them on and the NFL putting them on more. Get Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen somewhere on that. The idea that Dallas has earned that spot. It's Lakers on Christmas. Who cares? Remember when Apple inserted the U2 album on your iPod and you didn't want it and you couldn't get rid of it? That's what I feel about the Cowboys.
I think that's hilarious.
That is the most perfect analogy because nobody wanted it. Nobody was asking for that U2 album.
No.
And you couldn't get rid of it. It was you literally could not get it off your iPod.
Short? Do I remember it right that it was short? That it was like
A
only
millisecond was too long for that. that album on my
But it was only
iPhone.
like 5 songs.
All right, it was the Songs of Innocence.
But I thought it was only like 5 songs. Something about it made me think it was small. That it was a short little. That it wasn't a typical
Oh
album.
my God, I don't need the whole song and dance
God, it was
on
terrible.
what was created.
God, it was terrible.
Oh my God, dude, the Wikipedia page on it. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
No, there's 11 songs.
11 songs. Oh God. Oh, I never got through them.
Yeah,
I can tell you that. I never got
exactly.
through
You
them.
didn't listen to all 11.
No, I didn't.
Unbelievable, man. But that's a great analogy. All right, coming up next, we'll hear from you at 610-632-0975. What was your reaction to the schedule release? Did you get nervous? Because a lot of people on our timeline were. But also, at 7 o'clock, I will begin year 2 of my journey of getting John Kincaid's W's and L's. And this year, I think it's borderline foolproof. It's Kincade and Salciunas.
There's a fool here. I know that.
97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A familiar face returns to the Flyers. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. The Flyers search for their new head coach came to an end yesterday when the team hired Rick Tocchet to fill that role. Tocchet spent 11 years in his playing career here in Philadelphia, and now he returns to coach his former team. Tocchet comes to Philly with 9 years of coaching experience, including the last 3 with the Vancouver Canucks, where he won the Jack Adams Award for the NHL Coach of the Year just 2 seasons ago. A new challenge awaits him here with the Flyers as they look to continue their rebuild. The Phillies split the doubleheader yesterday with the Cardinals. Jesus Luzardo got the winning game 1. He looked impressive again, and the team was on their way to another winning game 2 until Aaron Nola fell apart. Nola went 3 2/3 innings, allowed 9 earned runs on 12 hits. The Phils have an off day today before hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, and we now know the road to a repeat for the Eagles as the official schedule release for next season was revealed last night, and we're going to be reacting to it all morning long right here on Kincade and Salciunas. Opening game against Dallas, week 2 against Kansas City, week 3 against the Rams, so much more. We're going to continue breaking that down. This update was also brought to you by Wendy's. With Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles, you choose the pair you want at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
o'clock hour, I will try
What do you mean try?
to begin my journey to get your W's and L's.
Yeah, good luck.
I'll explain how I'll do it,
Uh-huh.
and you might not be able to go against it.
I might not be able to.
And it's going to be your own fault, John.
Okay.
Well, we'll
See
get
what
to that in a
happens.
few minutes. I want to
Okay.
hear from the people first because the schedule came out yesterday, and you and I both saw it. This time our algorithms aligned yesterday.
Okay.
Where we saw a lot of nervous energy on the timeline, which is strange.
Yeah, I'm floored.
Back-to-back years where we're the beacons of light, even though people try to rewrite history. What are the people saying on the text line this morning, Gunner?
Yeah, no name on this one, and he's pretty negative. He says, I can't deal with everybody trying to spin it for the Eagles. This schedule is brutal. Dallas, KC, Rams, Tampa, Denver to start, Green Bay, Lions, Dallas Bears, Chargers in the middle. Then you finish with Washington, Bills, Washington. No home back-to-backs. It's a brutal schedule.
All right, so a couple of things here. Are we really scared of the Bears and Chargers? Like, I'm legitimately asking because I know the Bears now have Ben Johnson, who was the hot commodity as the available head coaching candidate. And I know that they had a great offseason rebuilding that offensive line. I know the Chargers are a playoff team, but tell me the thing Justin Herbert's done in his career. Like,
He's tall and he has a big arm.
yeah. Cowboys week 1, is that really freaking you out?
Seriously?
On May 13th?
Like the Cowboys scares you?
15th? I got to get my
Like
eyes fixed.
the Cowboys, you beat them by like a combined 45 points last year in the 2 games.
Now,
I mean-
granted, it was Cooper Rush and all them, but still,
I mean,
like, is that really? Look, the schedule's difficult in terms of the opponents. There are 11 games where you're playing a team that was in the playoffs last year. Like, that's not easy, right? But those teams also have to look across the field and see the Eagles.
exactly. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get the panic. I really don't.
What did he
I
say
look
at the beginning? I don't know how anybody could try to spin this. Like,
Yeah.
I know how I could spin it. The Eagles are the defending Super
What
Bowl
do you
champions.
like, are you bothered by this schedule? Like that much? I really
don't
am
see how
not.
you can be. Like,
The
I think
Eagles
it
are
broke
defending
well.
Super Bowl champions. That's
I'm not
how I
like
spin
I'm not
it.
worried. Here's what I would say is every single city where they're talking about seeing the Eagles on their schedule, they're bothered by it.
Yeah.
And to me, the only stretch of the season I do not like is Green Bay on a Monday night, home for the Lions on a short week on Sunday, and then Dallas the following Sunday. That's the only stretch I don't really like, and I'm not really concerned about that, but I mean, I could see that being a rough and tumble stretch because then you play on a short week Friday. That's a stretch of the schedule. Those 4 games is the stretch I don't like. But other than that,
Like the W's and L's conversation can go any which way, but when other people are doing this across the country, these teams, I don't know, a Packers fan, Lions fan, they're more than likely marking the Eagles game down as an L for themselves. Like outside of a handful of teams,
Okay.
Like if this was the Giants schedule and I was a Giants fan doing Giants sports talk radio this morning, yeah, I'd be terrified. No, my team stinks, but the Eagles don't.
no Eagles fan, how about this? No opposing city, if their fans are being honest, is saying that they're if they're playing this stupid WL game, they're not putting a W at Philadelphia.
exactly.
Okay, so let's play that game right there. Right there, none of them are doing it. So they're right there. None of them are doing that.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to lose home games because it happens. It's
gonna
going to happen. But the thing is, no opposing team is going, yeah, put us down for a win at Philly. That's not how it goes.
That'd be silly.
Yeah.
It's pretty dumb.
All right, give us one more text.
All right, let me get one up for you guys.
As you're
We
listening
got-
to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibility.
We got Joe the Cynic checking in saying, it may sound odd coming from me, but I wish some fans had confidence in their team. I think the Eagles are good enough to battle through that tough schedule, even if they don't have back-to-back home games.
See, Joe the Cynic is on the right side of history.
I
here.
love Joe the Cynic. I
is
like Joe the
another
Cynic's attitude.
He's a beacon of light. John Kincaid's a beacon of light. Andrew Salciunas beacon of light. Brendan Gunn beacon of light.
I truly don't understand I don't understand the angst over this. I loved it when I saw the schedule come out. I did not hear enough of Andrew DiCecco yesterday when I was driving home. I didn't get to hear enough of it, but to me, Andrew DiCecco seemed very comfortable with it.
Yeah. That's great.
I don't like. I really don't feel like there was anything to worry about.
All right. Ready to feel uncomfortable?
Yeah. Well, what about?
All right. So in case people don't know, if you're just joining Kincade and Salciunas, welcome. Right? Like if you're just joining the show, you didn't listen last year, year one of the show. We're in year two. And we're glad that you're joining us. If you missed the day we did it, and you just were a part of the show, but you were just busy that day, John is anti-W's and L's, and you always have been.
Always have been.
Like this isn't since you came to Philadelphia.
I guarantee you, my old partner, Buck Ballou, who I worked with for 21 years.
Yeah.
At some point today, he will tweet out that they're going to play the W's and L's game today in Atlanta on his show, and he will do it just as a tweet.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
So John's anti-W's and L's. He thinks it's the laziest bit of radio in the world. So what I did...
No, the Mount Rushmores are the laziest.
Second laziest.
Yes.
So what I did last year was I put my detective cap on, and I was able to try to trick you into saying that you thought a team would win, the Eagles would win, or lose certain games. And I got you around 12-5.
No, I was 12-5. I have it in my notes. I was 12-5.
And that's right around where the Eagles finished. Eagles won 13 games last year.
That was right about it.
My incredible detective work got you there. Now, here's the deal. I can't do the same thing back-to-back year.
Because I'm not falling for it this year.
Exactly.
I'm a dope, but I'm not that big a dope.
So now, this year, and you guys don't even know how I'm doing this. Gunnar has no idea either. I'm going to use your own logic and methods against you.
Okay.
Statistics.
All right.
Evidence.
All right.
Math.
Okay, well, then you're speaking my language then.
Yes.
You're speaking my love languages.
Yes. And you kind of gave me the idea without you even knowing it.
Okay.
Because the other day, when Shefty put out the tweet that the Eagles and Cowboys would be opening up this season, I then saw the follow-up tweet from Shefty that in the last 20 years, which is when they started doing the Super Bowl winner would open up the season. That's not something that they always did. This is the 21st straight season where the winning team of the Super Bowl opened up the season the next year.
Baltimore had to open on the road because of the fact that the Orioles had a game and they couldn't move it.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
When they won. And, so that had to happen. But for the most part, this has always been it.
And Shefty put out the stat that the winning Super Bowl team is 15-5 to open up the season. And then yesterday, when we found out Eagles-Chiefs was week 2, you said something which gave me the idea. You were like, well, you do know that the team that wins the Super Bowl that starts the season 1-0 has like an 80% success rate.
Yeah, they have a great record in week 2.
Which is why I went, I have an idea.
Okay.
This is how I will try to get you to do W's and L's today. You are going to use statistics. And here's the deal. If you disagree with the math and the numbers and the logic, then you're just going to have to tell me.
Okay.
So you are going to be either in lockstep with numbers or you're going to go against your own beliefs.
See, now the thing is, this is logical.
See?
This plays to my fastball.
I am a mad scientist,
Well,
Gunnar.
no, I absolutely will engage in conversation like this. Not, let's go to Joe in Norristown. Well, I have them losing the Kansas City game and the revenge game, and then I have them beating the Rams.
That's Tom from Alabama.
Then I have them losing the Tampa game because it's going to be like 95 degrees, and then they're going to beat the Broncos. Like nobody wants to hear that.
So
nobody wants to hear these calls.
So I have,
somebody has conned you into thinking that it's good radio. Let's go to Tony in South Philly. Tony, all right, Tony, what's your win-loss record? I have them 11-6. Well, Tony, what are you worried about? Well, it's that stretch in November. I have them beating the Packers, then I have them beating the Lions, then I have them losing to the Cowboys and losing to the Bears. Well, why? I'm just saying it. Stupid.
See, because
I like this.
We are great partners.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. See, back-to-back years, I've heard that you're proud of me on this day, the day after schedule release day. I love that. It puts a smile on my face. So over the course of the show, I will throw out the games and percentages and questions and all that kind of stuff and see if you agree with the math or not. And if your prediction will be a win or a loss.
Okay.
Using logic.
No,
and
using logic.
statistics.
Using logic. I like that idea.
So we'll do this.
You can suck me into your evil plan. I like that.
And then don't worry, at around 9:30 this morning, Gunner and I will do the traditional way. We're just going to hit the football music and
Okay.
say win or loss. Don't worry. So
All right.
coming up next, I'm going to get the first 2 games out of you. All right?
All right.
And then we'll also check our text line at 610-632-0975. I want to hear from the people about whether or not you got some sort of reaction to the schedule coming out yesterday, because there was a lot more bad vibes, it seemed like, on social media than positive. Man, I got the sheet here, Gunner. It's,
The sheet.
It's like chicken scratch. It's Charlie Day from Always Sunny, man. Pepe Sanchez. Or Pepe.
I'm
what was his
excited
name?
for
Pepe
it.
Sanchez.
Pepe Sylvia. Sorry, that's
I love Pepe
that's
Sanchez.
Temple's finest.
He was great.
Last time they were good.
Come on, man. Khalif Wyatt, baby.
Not Elite 8 good.
Come on, man.
Not Elite 8
Leaf. All right. More of Kincade Salciunas comes your way next year on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
There's no way that you're going to get me to buy it.
why we can't just do W's and L's the way that maybe people are accustomed to, which is why I got to find different ways to do it to get it out of Johnny. And last year I got 12-5 out of John Kincade. So let's see how we can get the record out this year. I'm using statistics. I'm going to need your help here because you have all that stuff at
I do.
handy.
I have tons of stuff on.
There are some things that I have, or at least questions that I have, where I believe you can find the data for it.
If I can't, if Sheldon Cooper can't, nobody can.
There are some games where I literally don't have a question for, so you're just going to have to give a damn
Okay.
pick. All right, appease me here. But we'll start with the first 2 weeks.
Right.
And I wonder if you will go with the facts or the stats, or if you'll go against the numbers. So, as I mentioned last segment, the team that wins the Super Bowl, that opens up the season over the last 20 seasons.
When they win that game.
Well, no, I'm starting week 1, baby.
Yes.
Week 1, the Super Bowl, defending Super Bowl champion, is 15-5 since they started doing this over the last 20 seasons.
75%, baby.
So that means 75% of the time, which is the majority of the time,
That's a great number.
the defending Super Bowl champions, which I believe are the Philadelphia Eagles.
And that's better than the winning percentage that the average team has at home. Even the best teams in the league.
So, would you agree with the math and the statistics and predict the Eagles to win week 1?
Yeah, I would agree that the Dallas Cowboys are not that good. I'm looking at it that way, too, is that I'm looking at it that the Dallas Cowboys are a good team, and they will be improved this year, but the Dallas Cowboys won't be what they were last year, the dumpster fire they will be. But the Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champions, and the Dallas Cowboys are not that good. I absolutely would be totally comfortable in thinking that we are not walking out of the building on September 4th upset.
W.
Yeah, I'm not in the least bit concerned about that one, and I don't think that's even playing the stupid W's and L's game.
Gunnar, how you feeling so far about my strategy here today?
It's a good plan. I think we're going to get all the way there, and I think the people
I don't think
are
you're
going
going to get all the way there, but you never know.
You never know.
I'm going to get as close as possible. And
You
then,
never know.
And then I will force you to make some predictions. All right, then the next one. You gave a stat yesterday, which is what gave me this idea. You brought this upon yourself.
Right?
Now, I don't remember it word for word, but it was the stat of the Super Bowl, defending Super Bowl champion, winning week 1,
Yeah,
and their percentage chance of winning week 2.
No, it's a team that wins week 1.
Oh, sorry, the team.
Whoever wins week 1 wins like 80% of the time week 2. They win. How about this? The team that wins week 1 wins at a higher percentage in week 2, which is almost impossible, considering 75% then becomes 80%. I also believe it wasn't a fluke in the Super Bowl. I don't think there was anything fluky about that because I think that was a physical beating.
Yes.
I don't think it was the undermanned Kansas City Chiefs were beaten. I don't think it was because the Kansas City Chiefs were missing 5 guys.
Right.
And the Eagles dominated them. I absolutely. I loved the matchup Super Bowl week. We talked about it all week long. There was no doubt in my mind the Eagles were winning the Super Bowl. And so now, coming off a Super Bowl and using the logic of that when they win week 1, the team that wins week 1 wins at a higher percentage in week 2, 80%. I'm going to tell you right now, gamblers, you will not find a better stat in all of sports than that, in all of sports gambling than that.
Now, I will also say a lot of my questions are based off of spreads, against the spread, betting data, betting history, which you also like to turn
I love
to.
that. I do love some of that stuff. So
No.
I have so
W.
So that's if no that and to me, that is a conversation based on complete logic, based on discussing facts, based on discussing history. It's not just, hey, let's go to Tony and Ridley. Tony, what do you think? Well, the Eagles losing to the Cowboys. And then I have them beating the Chiefs and then beating the Rams and then beating the Buccaneers. So they're going to be 3-1 heading into that Broncos game. And then I think the Broncos are going to shock them.
All right, now here's the deal. Hold on.
It's the stupidest show of the year that any show does.
Hold on. This is what I want. Because Gunnar just gave me an idea. Gunnar just sent me a way I can ask about Game 3. Now, I have a way that's not the same way that you asked me. So we now have two pieces of data to ask the Week 3 question, which we'll get to later on. I'm not doing it yet. I'm not going to do all this before 8 o'clock, damn it. We got a 4-hour show to do. But if anybody has questions for John, either based off statistics or against the spread, you can also send them in because we want you to be a part of this to try to get John to do something he hates.
By the way, how big a dork am I? Seriously, it's a rhetorical question.
Well.
And for those people who know me and somewhat love me around here,
I hate to agree with you, John, but
I have that's the best part of all.
That text.
I have like 47 pieces of data around this stuff. So there's a chance that I might actually have already researched some of this stuff you're going to try to pull.
This may be your favorite show on a day that you typically hate. How about that?
And you know what? If you do that, that may be your greatest accomplishment. That's really good.
Beautiful, man.
That's good.
All right, coming up next, as we will continue to talk about the Eagles over the course of the show, we will talk some Phillies in the next segment. Because the Phillies played 2 yesterday, Johnny. One starting pitcher was amazing. The other was not. Good thing is there's only an $18 million difference between the two. It's Kincade and Salciunas on this Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A former player returns to coach the Flyers. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. With Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles, you choose the pair you want at participating U.S. Wendy's. The Flyers' search for their new head coach came to an end yesterday when the team hired Rick Tocchet to fill that role. Tocchet spent 11 years in his playing career right here in Philadelphia, and now he returns to coach his former team. Tocchet comes to Philadelphia with 9 years of head coaching experience, including the last 3 seasons with the Vancouver Canucks, where he won the Jack Adams Award for the NHL Coach of the Year just 2 seasons ago. A new challenge awaits him right here in Philly with the Flyers as they look to continue their rebuild. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday with the Cardinals. Jesus Luzardo got the win in Game 1. He had another great outing, looked very impressive yesterday. And the team was on the way to another win in Game 2, and then Aaron Nola fell apart. Nola went 3 2/3 innings. He allowed 9 earned runs on 12 hits. The Phils have a day off today before hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, and we now know the road to a repeat for the Eagles as their official schedule was released last night. They're not going to have a ramp-up period per se. They open the season with the Cowboys Week 1, Chiefs Week 2, Rams Week 3, and the Buccaneers Week 4. So, 3 out of 4 playoff teams and then a division rival should be a tougher start than most. We'll keep reacting to that all morning long right here on Kincade and Salciunas. This update was also brought to you by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. Motorcyclists share the same road as us, but they are harder to see. Look twice before changing lanes, approaching intersections, or merging into traffic. A message from the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Hall of Fame baseball insider Jason Stark.
I think the biggest thing.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. As I continue to hack up a lung next to John
Oh, my
Kincade.
gosh. If you ruin this bachelor weekend for me, I swear to you.
Well, I cough into my the arm. It's not
I
like
swear to you, I'm gonna.
The reason why I got sick is because Cooper looks at me in the face and goes, "Hi, Dada." He just coughs right in my face and sneezes in my face.
Bad boy.
I'm not doing that to you.
Bad boy. Yeah, but we share intimate space together. Not that intimate, but we share intimate space together.
I'm going to stay in here the rest of the
you
show.
stay
What's
in there.
going on
It's
during the
terrible.
break?
It's
We
like
like our privacy, okay?
Like the fungus is among us in here.
During the break, I almost freaked out a little bit.
Why?
I thought I had like a new mole. It freaked me out, but it was a piece of my headphone was because these headphones, I don't know how old these things are. So
they're too old.
Martin Strayer is like a musician engineer in the
Okay.
area. He works with like rock bands,
Okay.
and he's a big listener to the station. He sent these to me back in like 2017.
Really?
I still use them.
The
They still sound great. These are audio engineer, like musician engineer quality headphones. So they sound great. It's
they
just
look like something out of like
they're falling apart because
like
they're
the kids
they're,
wore on the Cosby Show
because they're 8 years
back
old.
in the day.
Listen, man. As long as I can hear your beautiful tones, that's all that matters.
I'm going to say that my dermatologist, who I absolutely visit every year,
I
Gotta get
use the
tagged.
same. I use
Right
the same
upstairs.
dermatologist, man.
right upstairs, B Gun does not use drives me crazy. Does not use sunscreen.
Yeah, Casper,
I don't believe in
Casper
it.
the friendly ghost over there
I love
doesn't
this.
use
I love
sunscreen.
this. I
GTL.
I love it. I don't believe in it. Yeah, I know you're GTL. You look just like you are situational in and of yourself. But
Come at me, bro.
man, here we
Come
go.
at me, bro. All right, before we get back to our text message and before I continue to get John Kincade to give W's and L's with this Eagles schedule by using statistics.
No,
which is
logic worked, yeah.
Which is his wheelhouse.
Logic was really working.
Back-to-back years where this is working out for me.
Okay.
Phillies played 2 yesterday, Johnny, and game 1 was good.
Yeah, I was there for it. So it was good.
That's right. You enjoyed it. Pitchers duel. They win 2-1. Jesus Luzardo, spectacular.
Gosh, he's great.
7 innings, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, just 1 earned run, 2 walks. Phillies win 2-1. Bryce Harper had the bloop RBI single. What was the decision? Again, you know me. Half the time I'm watching the game with the sound off. Stott tries scoring.
Stott did not. If Stott had continued to run through, he would have been safe. Because the catcher was blocking the plate before
Like 4 feet up the line.
before Stott arrived.
Yeah.
But Stott didn't arrive before the ball.
Okay.
If Stott had arrived before the ball, but Stott held up.
Now, I wonder how much did the injury of Oswaldo Cabrera with the Yankees the other day, does that scare somebody? I don't know.
I don't know why it would scare Stott.
Yeah. But anyways.
Like, I mean, Freddie Gonzalez, Colin Newby and I were in the press box and watching, and former Braves and Marlins manager Freddie Gonzalez was sitting behind us. And so I turned to Freddie and I said, what's the thing there? And he goes, well, we didn't have the sound up, obviously. We're watching.
Yeah.
And he says, if Stott continues to go through, if he arrives before the ball, the guy's blocking the plate.
Yeah. And so illegally blocking the plate.
Illegally blocking the plate, Stott would have been safe.
Yeah. But anyways, Phillies win 2-1. So that was game 1.
Yes.
And that pitcher is getting paid $6 million.
Interesting.
Now,
With 1 year left on his contract after this one.
Yeah. A guy
Let's
that's making,
remedy that.
A guy that's making $18 million more
Uh-huh.
pitched in game 2.
Yeah, should have been wearing like the mask like the Hamburglar from McDonald's because he's stealing cash.
Aaron Nola had I don't know if it is factually correct or not, but I will say arguably the worst start of his career.
No, it was the worst start.
Was it? Do we
yeah,
have
that's what
numbers
they're
behind it?
saying. Yeah, cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
So
Was the actual weather forecast for game 2.
Flint Lockwood, man. Aaron Nola, 3 2/3 innings.
God, he was terrible.
12 hits, 9 earned runs. He struck out 2. How many home runs did he allow? 4?
3? I thought?
Three.
I think it was three.
Just 3. Just 3
Yeah,
home
just
runs.
3. It was
3 home runs
just 3
allowed.
meatballs.
Yeah, just 1 per inning.
And
Terrible.
the funniest thing that I
There was
saw,
nothing funny. Stop it.
No. The
Nothing
funniest
funny.
thing. No, I got to pull up the tweet word for word. Our own Brendan Petrelli. It's funny how the Aaron Nola hate went away for a few weeks. The guy can't pitch in bad weather. Chill the bleep out.
Oh, my gosh.
Did Jesus Luzardo have good weather to pitch in yesterday, John? You were in the ballpark for that.
Jesus Luzardo pitched in worst conditions because at least 4 of the innings he pitched in, it was precipitation coming down.
Did he allow 9 earned runs in his outing with the bad weather, John?
I swear to you. I hope that you find somebody that loves you in your life the way the Brendan Petrillis of the world will love and make excuses for Aaron Nola. I hope somebody loves you like that.
He was dog meat yesterday.
He's been dog meat. Again, as I tell you, he is the worst 5th starter in baseball.
5th starter has a ring to it because I cannot see this guy getting a playoff start if it continues like this.
No, he's the worst 5th starter in baseball right now. If you took 9 starts and imposed it on any rotation, he's the worst 5th starter in baseball. That's all you need to know.
Do you know that
he's killing this club, and why Sleepy Rob somehow just sat there and watched it? Why did he let the Phillies kept fight? They fought back.
They fought back?
They fought back. They even the game. They fight back, and Sleepy just sits there and just watching. Just watch.
Here's my guess.
And John, they had a day off today.
I know.
They had a pitcher in there who was ready, who could have gone 3, 4, 5 innings.
Yeah. My guess was that
Sleepy didn't care.
No. My guess was you used your horses in the pen in game 1. You weren't going to use them in game 2 because baseball is scared of that.
Then don't go to your horses. Go to your long relief.
Yeah, I hear you. That was just my guess. No.
You had guys who are long relievers.
Yeah.
That could go.
Tanner Banks can go 2 innings. Joe Ross can go multiple innings.
Wait a minute. You have another pitcher. You have another pitcher who used to be a starter.
Yeah, I said it. Taijuan Walker. He was the first
Taijuan Walker is a guy who you could have tossed to at that point and said, Taijuan Walker, who, by the way, what did he do for his first 2 innings he came in? Zeros.
And then
hey, Sleepy Rob, wake up. Wake the hell up. And he just kept letting it happen. And John Kruk, God bless you. God bless John Kruk for just saying, well, I guess he's just going to keep leaving him out there.
Yeah.
John Kruk, a former player, he knows what the players are saying.
The players are they're deflated.
He knows what the players are saying. They're just watching it, and they're looking over. They're looking over in that dugout, going, "Do something,
Aaron Nola.
Do something. Your team fought back."
Aaron Nola's starts right now are akin to Walker's starts last year, where you realize right away, here we go, and then you just have to deal with it. And then
but they gave him 5 runs.
I know he gives up a run in the first inning. The Phillies come back and put up 5 in the bottom of the first inning, and you're going, wow, this is great. You won game 1 on a pitcher's duel. You won 2-1. Now the bats are alive in game 2. They started the starters, right? Rob,
it was good.
Rob didn't sit half the team because he was nervous about the team's health or whatever. They put up a 5 spot, and then Nola just implodes again.
Oh, my gosh.
And I have to be told to relax because of the weather. I have to be told to relax because it's early on in the season. This guy's velocity is dipping, and I have to say it again because there are people that either have too much earwax or can't read the phone correctly. We celebrate the fact that he took the ball every 5th day for as many years as he did.
And we have always, if either one of us or if, and Brendan, I'll count you in on this, if that stuff wasn't said and wasn't celebrated and wasn't tweeted, I would say then we should be ripped for it if it wasn't.
But
it
we
was.
did.
It was. So I don't want to hear it.
And this isn't necessarily blaming Aaron Nola. At some point, your arm just
No, I'm blaming it. I'm blaming it now.
Well, he's got to learn how to pitch with 2 miles per hour less on his fastball. But here's what happens. When you have all those innings under your belt, which he has a lot of them. Again,
he does.
You're going to go down as a statistically top 10 pitcher in Phillies franchise history, right? That's amazing. It's a long, long time. 1883 was the first year of the franchise. You're a top 10 pitcher. But this year, clearly, it seems like all those innings have gotten to him. And people, all of a sudden, when he had 2 good outings, went, "Yay, he's back!" All those haters,
all you haters that are saying, it's like people spike the football or baseball. They spike it way too early.
He's made 9 starts this year. You want to know how many quality starts he's had? Quality, which is
3, right?
Only 3.
Yeah, 3. And that's all I can remember.
He's making $24 million.
He is, more importantly, his manager last night let down his entire team. And if you listen to John Kruk and you listen to that broadcast, he wouldn't say it, but he said it. Well, guess he's just going to leave him out there. A 5-1 lead. They blow the lead. They come back and tie the game, get him back to even. Taijuan Walker should have been out there on the mound and should have said, "No, Aaron, you don't have it tonight. We're going to give somebody else a chance here. We're not just going to let you throw meatballs." But no, sleepy. Then just let him go. Hit till it just was terrible. That was awful.
Yeah.
Another quick tidbit from the doubleheader. Kyle Schwarber's on base streak did end yesterday.
It did
too.
end.
It did. And then he hit a home run in game 2.
He was unbelievable.
But the weather was bad for Nola. The same weather that Luzardo had. The weather was too bad for Nola.
And Jesus,
Dominant.
the best start since Roy Halladay through 9 starts as a Philly.
That's awesome. Love that.
How about that?
All right, coming up next.
Doesn't deserve to be in the Wall of Fame, but still great.
Coming
Awesome.
up next. I'm going to get a couple more games out of you for the Eagles' schedule with your wins and losses based off of statistics and logic. But also, I forgot to play something for you guys yesterday. But I heard at the news at noon on the Mike Missanelli show. It's an example of how out of touch someone can be with this city. It's Kincade and Salciunas.
Don't talk about Mike like that.
97.5 The Fanatic.
Connor Thomas.
If you're an opposing
7:40 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on a Thursday morning, which means Wendy's Thursday morning.
Here.
We have 4 $50 gift cards to give away, man. And I did not give one away in the 6 o'clock hour. I apologize. So here's what we're going to do. We'll do, again, I'm sorry. Do we have a contest line, or is it still just the regular line?
I've not been made aware of a contest line, so I'm going to assume it's the regular.
What the hell does Nate do around here?
Well,
he should be able to tell you that.
We got the new phone system, but I don't know if the contest line's up yet. So,
I know Nate can run marathons in Pittsburgh.
Yes, he can.
But he can certainly tell you whether we have a contest line or not. He can type it on a screen to tell you.
So how about we do this? Caller 1 to the regular line, 610-632-0975.
Say hello to Nate and congratulate him on running the Pittsburgh Marathon.
And then you'd win a 50. But you have to congratulate Nate. If you don't congratulate Nate, I'm serious. If the first caller does not congratulate you, you do not get the $50 gift card.
I think Nate's on the market, available.
The first person to congratulate Nate at 610-632-0975 for running the Pittsburgh Marathon will get a $50 Wendy's gift card. Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 biggie bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's.
I saw Vito just bring it on in for you. So.
Yes, I'm very excited.
And there's a burrito for you. So it's there. I thought he said there was.
No,
there was no burrito?
No, but I got the, don't worry. I got the,
what'd you get?
I got the sausage, breakfast sandwich. I'm still thrilled. I love Wendy's, man. Damn right.
Tunis loves the sausage.
All right. Well, man,
That's your favorite item.
it's great.
It is.
All right, so I have you at 2-0. The Eagles to start the season so far.
I think that's logical.
So-
Yeah, we discussed logical reasons for that. I like it.
So question number 3,
Yeah.
or game number 3, I should say. The Eagles play the L.A. Rams.
Yes.
Now, again, you have the right. It's your predictions, kind of. You have the right to agree or disagree with the numbers
Sure.
to make your predictions, because you can always make numbers go your favor to the point where you'll somehow get to 17-0 if that's how you base your life off of it.
I'm not a dope. I don't do that.
So, week 3,
Yeah.
the Eagles play the Rams. Now,
Eagles are a much better team than the Rams.
there's 2 things that we can go off of.
Okay.
Gunner texted me something. In week 3 of the 2024 NFL season, all 9 teams that started 2-0 won their 3rd game, improving their record to 3-0.
Well, that's really impressive.
Now, I will give you another question, but I don't have the statistic in front of me, and you probably do because you're a lunatic.
Okay.
What is the record of West Coast teams
I already have it.
traveling east, not just traveling east, but traveling east and playing a 1 o'clock
Yeah, the
game?
1 o'clock games. The 1 o'clock
Because
games
that's
are
a
bad.
10 a.m. start for them.
It is a 1 o'clock games is one of the great indicators for gamblers. It's always a good gambling number. I don't have the exact numbers on this, but I know it is one of the positive gambling trends. I have a graph on it that it is always one of the positive gambling trends. If you're looking at one of the easy gambling trends to look at, always look at teams that are traveling, West Coast teams playing 1 o'clock games. It is always one to look for. That is usually an advantage. Usually an advantage for home teams that the West Coast teams being asked to play at 1 o'clock. That works there. I think the Eagles are very much a little offended by all the
Hell yeah.
the snow talk.
Hell yeah.
If the snow hadn't come in,
The
if this hadn't
tush-push
happened,
nonsense.
the tush-push nonsense, Sean McVay's high-pitched nonsense, and I know I'm going to hear from his father if it gets back that I was in any way critical of his Shawnee.
Do you call him an eyebrow tweezer?
No, Sean's not an eyebrow tweezer.
Okay.
Sean's not. No, Sean could be a little more perfectly groomed, honestly, if I'm being honest. Michael Coletti takes to the eyebrows for me, but it's really easy when he cuts my hair at Sal's in King of Prussia. But no, I love the Eagles against the Rams.
All right.
I love the Eagles against the Rams. I have no problem going on the record with that one. Love it.
I have Johnny at 3-0, Gunner.
I love the Eagles against the Rams. I think there will be a highly motivated Eagles team, and I do believe the Rams are one of the biggest threats in the NFC. I think it's a great game.
Fair.
I can't believe that game was a 1 o'clock game. That was maybe.
Yeah, you were shocked by that.
I think it might be the biggest shock on the on the schedule because the Eagles have played either that game. The Rams has been like it was Sunday Night Football last year, and the Eagles blew them out, sort of. And then it was Sunday.
Yeah, remember the start? The Rams went down the field with ease, and then Kyron Williams fumbled.
Yeah.
Right? Kyron Williams, running back? Yeah. Whoever.
Yeah, and then it was 3. Yeah,
Notre Dame or Kyron Williams, yep.
And he fumbled, and then the Eagles
Notre Dame,
man.
Notre
Dame. The Eagles just ran away with it.
Every Saturday.
All right, real quick.
So much fun.
Real quick, as I will continue to get your
okay.
records. I wanted to play this for you guys yesterday. So on Twitter, I like things that I try to use for the show. Right. Audio, stats, you name it. And I forgot to get this, and then I heard it during the news at noon. So I know we had it. And the beauty is the fact that we can save our audio. Ray was able to save it, and Brendan didn't have to record. So Brendan hasn't even heard it yet.
Okay. This is the what?
So Ryan Clark has his podcast, and he always has great guests on and all kinds of great conversations, life, sports, you name it. And he had a Sixer on.
Oh, this isn't where he had Jaden Daniels' mother on.
Oh, no.
Which I was getting just the amount of people that chimed in on that one.
I know.
I was getting some great interaction on that one.
No, he had Paul George on.
Oh, did he?
And
why?
And Paul George.
Like, why is Paul George on his podcast?
I mean, he's a big name, but
What?
dude, he's a
Well, like 3 years ago? 5 years ago?
He's a big name. Paul George is a big name. People know who Paul George is.
No. People know who he is, but today? That's a big name?
He's got a weekly podcast. He's got to have a lot of guests on. Paul George announced that the podcast is returning.
Oh, that's great.
But listen to how he says it. Take a listen.
I'm not a person that run away from anything. You know what I mean? Like, my dad kind of instilled that you face your problems and you move on from it. It's there and it's gone. And the reason I took the hiatus was more so I wanted to get my body healthy. I wasn't mentally there in a time of where we were at, the team, me dealing with injuries. I wasn't in a space of being jolly and happy. And, obviously we had topics and guests to talk with, but it wasn't much for me to talk about just because of where I was at. So now it's obviously the summer, my downtime. I'm training, focusing on my body. I did procedures to get ready for this next season and kind of just want to touch back with my fan base. It was important for us to kind of start this back up, to just give back to the people, man. That's what I always inspire to do is kind of give back to the people.
You know what giving back to the people is, Paul? Your $150 million that you have, or more than that, giving back to the people is like, oh, let me donate.
Are you? No, giving back to the people? Are you serious? Paul, look at your contract.
You're giving back to the people.
Giving back to the people is not your stupid podcast.
Oh, don't you worry. That podcast came back, and it's coming back at 8:15 as well.
Oh, my God. That podcast, which, by the way, I could have any one of my graduating students who just graduated from my class, and every one of them could sit down with you for an hour.
Listen.
And help you shape that thing up.
He had one episode back so far, and he managed to contradict something that Daryl Morey said on this very station.
Oh,
so
good.
we're gonna get to that.
Oh, that's good. Save that for that's going to be great.
But, dude, he
That's
thinks
incredible.
his charitable work is his podcast.
No, he thinks that giving it back.
I want to give back to the people. You know,
to the fans and my people. I'm giving back to you.
No, give
back to us when you're supposed to be on the court.
Yeah, or donate to charities or like.
Don't act like you're giving us something that we want.
By the way, that's not giving back.
When he's trying to set up a post-basketball career, don't pretend like you're giving it to us because we want it. We don't want it.
You only give back what you take.
Got
you don't have to give back what you earn.
And then he also does the whole, I wasn't healthy. Sitting on the couches.
Yeah, he must have gotten hurt. Extending the microphone stand. Shut up. Just shut up.
Paul George not a fan favorite here in Philadelphia. All right, coming up next, the Flyers have a new head coach. I will get another game out of John Kincade, but Johnny questions the reaction by many on Flyers Twitter. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Flyers get their head coach. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Flyers' search for their new head coach came to an end yesterday when the team hired Rick Tocchet for that role. Tocchet spent 11 years playing in his career here in Philadelphia, and now he returns to coach his former team. Tocchet comes to Philly with 9 years of head coaching experience, including the last 3 with the Vancouver Canucks, where he won the Jack Adams Award, which is the NHL Coach of the Year just 2 seasons ago. A new challenge awaits him here with the Flyers as the team looks to continue their rebuild. The Phils split their doubleheader yesterday with the Cardinals. Jesus Luzardo got the win in Game 1. He looked impressive, went 7 innings, very, very very good. On the other hand, the team was on the way to another win in Game 2 until Aaron Nola fell apart. He went 3 2/3 innings, allowed 9 earned runs on 12 hits. The Phils have a day off today before welcoming in the Pittsburgh Pirates for a weekend series tomorrow. We now know the road to a repeat for the Eagles as their official schedule was revealed last night. And they don't have much time to ramp up, as the Sixers like to say. Their first 4 games are against the Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll see what they do early on in the season. This update was brought to you by Wendy's. With Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles, you choose the pair you want at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the NBA playoffs. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip?
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. I just devoured.
You wolfied that.
Yeah, man. Sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit sandwich, man. From
And that
Wendy's.
hit.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So here's the deal. We got 3 more $50 gift cards to give away from Wendy's. I'll give one at some point this segment.
There you go.
So make sure you listen closely. Now, before I get the next game from you, because we are at 3-0,
Okay.
according to John Kincaid's logic and
according
statistics.
to logical discussion of things.
Yeah, but you believe in these things a lot more than I do.
No, I do. I absolutely believe in everything factual
I have the Eagles
discussion.
at 0-3 to start. No, I'm kidding.
Factual discussion.
bef-
Kevin, I bet you Kevin Cooney does.
Before we get to Eagles-Bucks, and you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. The
Kevin
Flyers,
Cooney has them at 0-4 and firing Nick Sirianni.
No, that was last year.
No, I understand.
And then turning the season around, remember?
And then they won the Super Bowl.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
was
The Flyers hired Rick Tocchet as
did.
their new head coach following the dismissal of John Tortorella toward the end of the season last year. You have thoughts on the hiring. Yesterday when we were reading into the Butchergross tweet with the hourglass, or what did you call it, the time glass, Brendan?
What were you calling
The
that?
time glass, dude. It's a new invention.
The time glass.
The time glass. That's yesterday. I put on Days of Our Lives. They said, like time glass through the like sands through the time
The
glass.
time glass, yeah.
Yes,
So
dude.
are the days of our lives.
I would like you to give your reaction because
Yeah.
I know it wouldn't have been your number one choice, but
would not have been my number
you're
one
not
choice.
having the reaction that some on Twitter
No,
are having.
I'm not. And I saw the talented Anthony Sanfilippo yesterday in the press box yesterday at the Phillies' first game of the opener. And I will tell you, as a guy who worked in the NHL as a broadcaster, worked video and statistical analyst for a coaching staff for many years, I trust Anthony Sanfilippo is one of the voices that I turn to.
Okay.
He's one of the guys that I turn to. And I told him so yesterday. He's one of the voices I like. I have always believed Flyers Twitter is the dumbest Twitter. It's my belief. I don't mean to disrespect people, but the more I read Flyers Twitter, to me, it's the dumbest Twitter of the local sports fan base. I read stuff and I just go, okay, I worked in the sport a long time, been in the locker rooms, worked for coaching staffs, understand the sport immensely. I don't understand what fans understand. Here's what I know about Rick Tocchet. I know that Rick Tocchet is a good dude that will create a positive atmosphere to be around.
Which you said yesterday during the show before it was even announced that he was
Yes,
hired.
Rick Tocchet is a guy who, and I was just having about it with Haley. I think people take the Rick Tocchet stuff and they take it to two extremes. They either take it to the poor extreme or they take it to the too positive extreme. So I'll take it one way. This is that Rick Tocchet was a Flyer when I worked for the Flyers. I'm just a little younger than Rick. So, I mean, I was working for the Flyers coaching staff when Rick joined the Flyers. I saw his playing career when he was young. I think he's a great dude. I'm very excited to have him be there. But what I will tell you is the positives and negatives. Rick Tocchet has been in 3 spots already in the NHL in 9 seasons. In his 3 spots, I'll give you a positive. He's been in 3 spots, and every spot he's been in, he's gotten better in his second spot than his first spot. He got better in his third spot as a coach than he was in his second spot.
Okay. Arrow pointing up.
So his fourth spot. He's in his 10th year as a head coach in his 4th spot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a journeyman coach.
We talk about a guy who burns through players, which John Tortorella burns through players. John Tortorella tended to get a job and stay in a place and stay there. Long tenures. That's not been Rick Tocchet. Rick Tocchet's been moved on.
Yeah.
Short tenures. That's a negative. I would tell you that if you didn't like John Tortorella as a coach, you didn't like his personality. You're going to love Rick Tocchet's personality.
Yeah, I heard dictator a lot for Tortorella.
And I don't like it when people use that term because I think it doesn't take, and I think you didn't listen to Matvei Mishkov.
Yep.
Matvei Mishkov did not want, and I repeat, he did not want John Tortorella fired. He wanted to play for him. So a lot of people find that an inconvenient truth. But they're going to Rick Tockett's going to create a good atmosphere. People are going to love playing for him.
Like Couturier?
I don't think Couturier will feel so much happier.
I just want to make sure.
And loved, and he's going to feel much more comfortable.
The captain. The captain.
He's going to feel much more comfortable. I don't think he's going to have to run to his agent to have his agent spread bad stories and create mayhem.
Yeah, just making sure the captain's
But
okay
Rick
with this.
Tocchet, though, if you're counting on the team to be more strategic, to have the strategic edge, with Rick Tocchet as the head coach compared to John Tortorella, I don't know where you're coming from. Because Rick Tocchet's no master strategist. He's much more of a, if you take it to a baseball, he's much more of a Rob Thompson.
Or what about Sirianni?
He's much more of a Sirianni. He is a guy who, by the way, we just saw Sirianni have a parade.
Yeah.
So it's just, this is the guy he is. You're not talking about the master chess player. This is the guy who's going to go into the lab and figure out all the different intricate ways.
Yeah, I saw a lot of dump and chase tweets yesterday.
You know what, though? He's going to create an attitude. He's going to create a work ethic. He's going to create an expectation of behavior that I think is going to be great for the Flyers. But he's also going to create a communication with players that is going to be better, I'm convinced, than John Tortorella.
Yeah, the one thing,
communication.
I ripped Couturier because he was the captain, and I thought he was way too outspoken about bad things.
And way too soft.
Way too soft. But
way too soft.
There were players that literally were told that they were sitting and they weren't told why.
And
that's something that I think
it won't happen with it. That
right.
I'll underline it will not happen with Rick Tocchet. But if you're counting on this team needs, in a rebuild, you need to teach. And players need to be taught. If you need to be taught how to be a professional, how to do things the right way, how to show up and work hard, how to do those things, Rick Tocchet is more than adequate to be able to do that. So that's a great thing. As far as, I saw people yesterday tweeting, wow, we finally got somebody who can take the lid off Mishkov. Now Mishkov will be able to, we're really going to be able to see the real Mishkov.
He had a good season.
Mishkov exceeded his over-under points total in Vegas by 17.5. And that's with John Tortorella not even playing him all the time. You don't know what you're talking about. And if you think that Rick Tocchet has a better strategic mind to unleash Matvei Mishkov than John Tortorella does, I think you don't know what you're talking about. What I'm hoping is that we're going to hear that he's bringing in assistant coaches who, first off, we get a competent assistant coach who knows how to run a power play.
Right, which you did not have the last couple of years.
That, by the way, can unleash Mishkov.
Yeah.
And also, too, that we're going to... I need to see who the assistant coaches are because I refuse to be negative on the hire of Rick Tocchet. And I would just say, and I hear guys, and I listen every day to the Mike Missanelli show. It's a quality program right after us. And Mike has been like, oh, it's just hiring another ex-Flyer. It's just hiring you're putting your head in the sand, Bill. No, it's not. As of yesterday, before he was hired, on the Vegas Strip at the MGM Resorts, Rick Tocchet was the odds-on favorite to be hired as the head coach by 3 different franchises. He was the hot girl at the party. He was the guy. He was the person that every team wanted to hire. He was the hot candidate in Seattle. Seattle is pissed they didn't get him. Chicago wanted him. So it's not, Flyers just going down the same path again. Jonesy and Briere just hiring the next Flyer. This is a guy who had the best moments of his career as far as understanding what it takes to win a Stanley Cup and everything outside of this city. He saw 2 Stanley Cup finals here, and then he had, went away. And I refuse to be negative on the hire of Rick Tocchet. And I know that he has a ton of attributes that are going to be good for the Flyers. But I need to see who the assistant coaches are to be really optimistic on it. Right. And unless they get Rick Tocchet a goaltender, unless they get him a competent NHL-level goaltender in here, I don't expect him to have any chance to win next year. Any chance, no matter what they go into.
All right,
Number one thing.
Real quick. Bucks, week 4. Now, I don't have like a game statistic for you.
I do.
But I have Hurts versus Bowles.
No, I do.
What do you got?
Hurts versus Bowles.
Oh, there you go.
It's terrible. Hurts versus Tampa Bay. Terrible. The Eagles versus Tampa Bay, terrible. There's your first loss of the year. How about that? I do not expect that we are going to go and see them beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's been a bad matchup for the Eagles. It's been a bad matchup for Nick Sirianni. Todd Bowles has owned Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, and I predict that would be a bad one. So in the first month of the year, if the Eagles are 3-1, dude, I'm happy. And by the way, Coco's and all the fun we could have at Philly sports trips, sign me up. Burn Steakhouse.
We're still going to have a blast.
I'm all in.
All right, coming up next, I hope you listened closely to what John just said, because we're going to give away a $50 Wendy's gift card coming up next. All right? We also have today's headlines with Brendan Gunn. Paul George mentioned in today's headlines, and a couple other juicy stuff. I can't wait. It is Kincade and Salciunas on this Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
Sullivan inside. Godbury.
games based off of statistics and logic. John's record is what through 4 games? The first caller at 610-632-0975 to get it right will win our second of 4 $50 Wendy's gift cards. Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 biggie bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or a medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Now, this is one of those things, is that, John, I hate to agree with you, ever.
I love that.
I hate to agree with you.
I hate to agree with you.
I hate to agree with you, but I do find the energy and the interaction between your entire team very entertaining each morning.
Hello.
Thanks very much. Thanks a lot. But he says, I've got to say, you're playing along very well this morning. You're not doing the win-loss game because it's one of the only things of the entire year I ever agree with you on. I think it's the stupidest thing in the world, and I don't understand why hosts believe that we want to hear from random callers about what they think the Eagles' record is.
Did you text yourself this?
No, he says he listens. He says he'll agree with me on like 3 things a year. He says one thing he does agree with me on is he does bet my picks.
I like
he does
that.
bet my
well,
picks.
If you bet me, you, and Connor last year.
He said last year, he goes, you guys were ridiculous. The only thing I would say to that is this. I do not look. We were all over 60% on Christmas Day.
It was ridiculous.
We were all over 60% on Christmas Day. That never. Not saying it's never going to happen again, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That was a great year. That was like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And you won. You won at the end.
I did.
Andrew won.
Proud of myself.
You won 62%.
Yep.
I won 61%. Connor won 59%. That doesn't.
Imagine not being in the 60th percentile.
Dude, that's never happening. Look, if I get 61% again this year, it would be a shock. I'd be floored.
All right, before we get to headlines, let me get one more game here. Broncos, same question, same logic as the Rams game. West Coast team, not far west, but Midwest, traveling to the East Coast for a 1 p.m. game.
They're not ready to win that game. The Broncos are not ready to win that game at that time. Plus, coming off of the Tampa loss, Eagles coming home. One of the things I love about the Eagles is the savvy of a championship-style club.
Yeah.
They're not losing that game.
4-1?
They're not losing that game. That's absolutely logical. Everything, there's not a problem.
4-1. All right, time now for today's headlines with Brendan Gunn.
Today's headlines with the one and only Brendan Gunn.
Brought to us by who, my friend?
The one and only Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. And one of the things we kind of talked about earlier in the show was the releases by the NFL teams, their schedule releases, the cool little 2-minute clips they put together lately. And I don't know if you guys caught the Indianapolis Colts one because they had to put it up and take it down. They did like a Minecraft one.
Yeah.
And the Miami Dolphins were coming up on the schedule. A dolphin swimming in the ocean pops up where number 10. And then the Coast Guard comes and arrests them. And people took that, were taken aback by that. Tyreek Hill getting arrested in the middle of the Indianapolis Colts schedule release video.
Wait a minute.
And they had to take it down.
Wait a minute. The Coast Guard was arresting. What's the problem?
Oh, my God. That's awesome.
Hilarious.
Okay, I love that. Wait a minute. They had to take that down?
Yeah, people were not too happy about it.
I swear, we live in such a day and time. We live in such a soft day and time. We really
not
do.
For nothing. Maybe don't lean over the edge of your apartment building with
your kid.
With your little kid.
What are you, freaking Michael Jackson?
Why are we?
Yeah, seriously.
By the way, if you don't get that reference, Michael Jackson
with
dangling.
with the blanket.
Dangling blanket.
Wasn't the kid's name Blanket?
And by the way, when you're at it, don't name your kid Blanket.
Yeah.
You freak show.
I'm just saying, why are we offended by the Chargers and not Tyreek Hill holding the kid over? Yeah, seriously.
Why is Tyreek Hill not? Oh, and by the way, that's after a 911 call.
Yeah. Well,
are we seriously not worried about this?
Come on, guys.
Oh my gosh.
What are we upset about?
I can't believe people get offended by that.
No, you can't believe people get offended.
No. I can't believe it. But not
guess
to
what?
the point.
But bet on it.
We got offended yesterday. What did we get offended with yesterday? Remember the email? The gentleman I was having to do it yesterday?
Yeah,
we got offended because we were talking about the Black Friday game. He told us that it's an outdated term that we need to stop using, calling it Black Friday. And we get him every time that comes up. We get an email from the.
If you say so. The Los Angeles
unbelievable.
The Los Angeles Chargers also had a funny video, Minecraft. Ian Rappaport, Jordan Schultz fighting in the coffee shop in it. And most
that's a great one. That's great. Like that's fantastic.
Great. And then if people missed it in that same Chargers video, a missing billboard was in the background. Los Angeles Chargers missing podcast P in the background of their schedule release video.
Really?
See,
yes.
I didn't want to watch because it was honestly, my attention span with things that I don't really care all that much about when I could just Google their schedule. Like 4.5 minute video is a little bit too much. 4 minutes and 44 seconds, a little bit too much.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So I missed all this stuff. That's awesome that the Paul George was on there.
I think it's fantastic. I would like that. That's great to me.
And speaking of Paul George, we had Daryl Morey on the station a couple of times.
Oh, by the way, the Eagles won. You didn't mention the Eagles won?
No, what happened in that one?
With the Chiefs getting trounced?
No, for the Chargers.
Yeah,
when they announced the Eagles game, it was Eagles fans walking on Broad Street holding signs saying "Save the Tush Push."
How about when the Chargers won, when the Chiefs got the Chiefs game? The Chiefs it's the Chiefs, and the Chiefs getting trounced by the Eagles.
That's funny.
Like getting just stampeded by the Eagles.
That's great.
Well, we had Daryl Morey on the station. Andrew and Amy did a great email, and then interview. It wasn't an email.
Did they
interview.
email? Was it good?
Yeah, back and forth. And then Mike had a great one last week.
Yeah.
And on that one, Daryl Morey was asked about Paul George, and he had this to say.
Obviously wasn't his best year. He would come out and say that himself. I think he maybe did that. We believe he'll bounce back. He was an elite defender.
And then I got to bring in this music instead, because Paul George brought his podcast back yesterday, and this is what he had to say about elite defenders in the NBA. So you know our league, the days of elite stoppers, those are pretty much gone. The Tony Allen types, even myself, I call myself an elite defender. There's guys I can't do anything with. I just have to hope I can go out there and do enough that's going to be a tough shot for him. He might make the shot, and all I can do is say, good, tip my cap to him.
Wow.
Within a week, he contradicts it, and I think that's
I'll be honest, because you got the Benny, or the the Curb Your
Enthusiasm music, which is a great choice, by the way.
I get what he's saying though. Like,
what?
The way guys are pulling up from 3/4 court with a hand in their face and splashing them. Like,
I get it completely.
I can't.
It's just hilarious. Daryl Morey comes on, defends the season, saying he was an elite defender. Yeah. Within 3 days, Paul George brings his podcast back and says elite defenders don't exist anymore.
Yeah, look, you can defend the shot and the shots still go in. Like, you can defend a shot at an elite level and the shots still go in. Like,
dude, I can rip that. I can rip that. Absolutely can rip that.
How?
Because there's an answer for everything. There's an answer for everything. It's a moving target right now. Daryl Morey press conferences are a moving target.
No, he's talking about Paul.
No, but I'm saying, but
Paul George called himself an elite defender,
I understand
but he still can't stop every single time, which is literally true.
But everything that is said from Paul George, from Daryl Morey, from
it's a walking contradiction.
It's a moving target at every time.
Yeah, I'm reacting to what Paul George, like. You can literally be on a guy like glue on paper, and the guy's still going to make the shot. Like, it's unbelievable the way guys are shooting in the NBA.
No, it is. It's true.
All right, coming up next, the Flyers, as we mentioned earlier, have a new head coach. You talked about it. You gave your thoughts. So why not we get an equal hockey guy on?
No, get a better hockey guy on.
Boosh.
Wait a minute.
Boosh joins us next,
Wait a minute. I want to see what kind of shape he's in.
Talk to him about
because this team would have made the playoffs with him in net.
We'll talk to him about Rick Tocchet coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Former player returns to coach the Flyers. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. With Wendy's 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles, you choose the pair you want at participating U.S. Wendy's. The Flyers' search for their new head coach came to an end yesterday when the team hired Rick Tocchet to fill that role. Tocchet spent 11 years in his playing career right here in Philadelphia. Now he returns to coach his former team. Tocchet comes to Philadelphia with 9 years of head coaching experience, including the last 3 in Vancouver, where he won the Jack Adams Award for the NHL Coach of the Year just 2 seasons ago. A new challenge awaits him here in Philadelphia as the team looks to continue their rebuild. Brian Boucher joins the show next at 8:25 to discuss the hire. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday against the Cardinals. Jesus Luzardo got the win in Game 1. He was impressive, and the team was on their way to winning early in Game 2 until Aaron Nola fell apart. Nola went 3 2/3 innings. He allowed 9 earned runs on 12 hits. The Phils have an off day today before hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, and we now know the road to a repeat for the Birds as the official schedule came out last night, and they're not going to have any time to ramp up. Their first 4 games are against the Dallas Cowboys Week 1, Kansas City Chiefs Week 2, LA Rams Week 3, and the Buccaneers Week 4. Tough sledding to begin the season. We'll see what they do with it. This update was also brought to you by Bet365. Bet365, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the NBA playoffs. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia sports.
here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic on the day after the NFL schedule was released, and I try to get wins and losses from John Kincade.
You've done well because you have made the discussion interesting.
Yes.
And you've made it based in logic.
It's based off of logic and statistics and not just feel.
Love it.
Which, don't worry, Gunner and I will do that in about an hour. Okay?
You guys will do the stupid thing?
17-0, baby. Go Birds. E-A-G-L-E-S.
That's another thing. Maybe you could have callers call up and just do the Eagles chant, too. That'd be great.
Which road game do you want to go to?
Yeah, that's another great topic that, like, everybody wants to hear.
Oh, why have people say it when he can get a trombone player to play it in the background?
Exactly.
Hell yeah, man. Let's do it.
Exactly.
All
or
right.
a school choir to sing. You can do that, too.
Anyways, the Flyers hired a new head coach yesterday, Rick Tocchet.
Familiar face.
Yes, familiar face. And so now we turn to the expert. Even though you just said it so expertly.
Well, no. This guy is.
We're going to go to a real hockey guy on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. Former goalie for your Philadelphia Flyers and, of course, a part of the NBC Sports Philadelphia broadcast team and nationally as well. Brian Boucher joins us. Bouch, good morning, man. How you doing?
Morning, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're excited for a new head coach here and excited for a new direction. And there's a lot of conflicting opinions, Brian, because people are wondering the whole Back to the Future thing always gets tagged to the Flyers about going back to the Flyers well. And Jonesy and Briere have had to fight it, when they got their positions. Tell us why the hire of Rick Tocchet may be different.
Well, first of all, I mean, I understand people's concerns with all that, but Tocchet's been away from the Flyers for a long time. I mean, you could argue that he spent more time in other organizations than he did in Philadelphia. So this is not like he's a guy that's a Flyers lifer who, when he got done playing, hung around the organization, scouted, now has moved up the chain and, is your head coach. I mean, this is a guy that won a championship as a player in Pittsburgh, won 2 championships in Pittsburgh as an assistant coach. He coached some teams that had no business being playoff teams. He coached, and then, in some cases got those teams to the playoffs. So coached in big-time market. Like Vancouver is a huge market. It's a very difficult place to coach in a place like that in Canada. So to me, Tocchet has been around the block, and he's so well-respected around the league by everybody, from ex-players to current players to coaches, managers, media, all alike. I mean, this is a terrific hire for the Flyers, and I think bringing a guy that knows what it's like to be a Flyer, that has been molded into who he is by being a Flyer early on in his career, I think is just I think it's a home run for the Flyers.
The two of you were teammates in the early parts of your career, your first stint here with Philadelphia. You've been able to also cover him nationally as a head coach. What kind of similarities have you seen from his playing career into his coaching career, and how much does that translate to a player?
Well, the Rick Tocchet you saw as a player, that feisty, stick up for your teammate type of guy who played with great intensity, is what you get as a coach. But it's also kind of misleading too. I think what people don't realize is that Tocchet is really he's an unbelievable guy, and he connects with people. And I think in today's day and age, everybody thinks that everybody's smarter than everybody else when it comes to how you figure out how you coach or how you manage or how you analyze. Everybody's coming up with numbers and algorithms as to how to get the most out of people. I think really at the end of the day, I think you need people in positions of leadership like what Tocchet is as a head coach to connect with his players, to understand how to get the most out of them, how to hold them accountable. It doesn't have to be in a way that the way it used to be, where you tell a player it has to be a certain way, and there's and you don't explain why it has to be that way. It just is. I think Tocchet understands that he can be firm, he can be hard, but he also knows how to talk to these players because he's been in every single situation you could ever imagine as a player, as an assistant coach, as a head coach. He gets it. He knows what these players are going through, and I think that is so invaluable. I think sometimes if you were to get somebody that's green and doesn't really understand the NHL game and how it goes, they're gonna have some learning curves as far as dealing with personalities and star players. Talk knows how to deal with star players. He knows how to talk to the fourth line grinder, and he knows how to get the most out of all those guys. And I just think guys respect him so much around the league in all different areas that, and that's what he was as a player too. We saw the guy that was feisty and would fight and all that, and obviously chip in goals. But what you don't see is the behind the scenes stuff that makes him so well liked and probably sought after around the league from so many teams that had head coaching job vacancies.
Brian, some of the things you said there, I don't want to misrepresent it in any way, but it seems like you were comparing and contrasting the man he's replacing, John Tortorella. Can you tell us the things you see that are potential positive changes in what Rick Tocchet brings to the table, but maybe what Rick Tocchett's going to need from his assistant coaches to be able to have different results on the ice than what John Tortorella was able to deliver?
Well, let's start with the assistant coaches. I don't know who the assistants are going to be yet, and it'll be interesting to see if that's more Tocchet's doing, who he wants to bring in and who he trusts. I think the assistant coaches, they tend to be guys that are like liaisons between the players and the head coach, oftentimes, and that's good. But I think Tocchet has the ability to have that connection with his players as a head coach, which is unique. So I think he relies on his assistants, for how they're going to play systematically, like the penalty kill to the power play to neutral zone play, D zone play. Like they're going to be the ones that are really hammering down that side of it. I think Tocchet handles relationships very well. I don't think he needs to. He doesn't need to be a guy that's like standoffish as a head coach and let the assistants be the go-between. Tocchet will address it, head on, and not in a combative way. I think he's a guy's guy, and he can talk to anybody. So I think that'll be what the assistants are doing. Probably system play, and doling out, how the team wants to play. That'll be what they do. As far as the difference between he and Torts, and I think Torts, I have a immense respect for Torts. I mean, this guy, he works his tail off, and he has a certain way. He's got conviction in what he believes, and I respect that. But at the end of the day, Tocchet was a player. Tocchet wore so many different hats than say John Tortorella, and I think when you break it down and players get face to face with a coach and they're talking inside the office, when a guy played and has been in certain situations, he's been a fourth liner, he's been a first liner, he's made international tournaments, didn't make was pushed out the door as a player late in his career, understands that. I mean, you're talking to a guy that you really can relate to. When you're having a conversation with him, that he understands what you've been through. And when you have coaches, and this is just not Torts, when you have a coach that never played, it's hard to have. Something's missing there. There's a piece that's missing in that relationship between player and coach. And I think Tocchet just checks off a lot of boxes that I think is going to make a difference in the way players approach the game and the way that you can get the most out of them and taking them to the next level.
Last thing, Boosh, and I think this is important to hear from you because you obviously cover the Flyers, but you also do stuff nationally. How close are the Flyers to being a playoff contender, and then if you want to go one step further, to being a cup contender? Because this is just year 2 of a rebuild, but just last year, 2 seasons ago, they were in playoff contention, which nobody expected, and I think that kind of confused a lot of fans, thinking that they were closer than what they actually were. So how close do you think they are?
As currently constructed, not as close as they'd want to be. And 2 years ago, I think that was a mirage. I think their batting average was very high. I mean, they probably batted 500. So, I mean, how many people bat 500 in MLB? So, I think they were in a situation where anybody that was really paying attention understood that they were doing better than a lot of people expected. I think they got to make some changes. I mean, I think they've got to add some players. I think this is a big off season with regards to addition to the roster. And I'd like to answer that question when we near training camp to see what changes Danny Briere was able to make as far as adding players. He talked about being in phase 2 of the rebuild, and now it's about adding some pieces. I'm sure he is ambitious as far as what he wants. The question will be, can he do it? Can he get it? It's not easy in certain cases to make trades or to get players to sign in free agency. Not that free agency these days is the way to really go and build a team. So yeah, it'll be when let's see what the roster brings, and then we can talk about how close they really are. But I think in getting a head coach like this, I think what you do is now you've added a guy that I think people respect around the league. Agents respect this guy. Players respect this guy. So if there is a situation where Philadelphia could be a potential destination for certain players, they're kind of, you know what? I like Talk. Talk's the guy that I want to play for. Players have had good experiences with him. And that to me is a positive. That's what you want. And hopefully this team, listen, I mean, there are a lot of teams that are hurting right now that are in a tough place. Pittsburgh's in a tough place. The Islanders are in a tough spot. The Rangers have a lot of question marks. I mean, when you look at the Metro Division, the Flyers are not the only team that have a lot of question marks. If they can make some changes, they may be closer to being a playoff team than we think, but time will only tell with that.
As you work the playoffs, they could use a goaltending influx of talent. Maybe a veteran this offseason would help.
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I think I'm a fan of Sam Harrison. I've said it on broadcast, and I'm not lying when I say it. I do like Sam. I think he's a good goalie. I just think that he's probably, from what I've seen in the 2 years that I've covered the team, I think he's a 1B and a guy that can share the net. So yeah, I think you got to find somebody that can give you 40 games that you can trust, that can. If Sam is struggling, this guy's going to play 5-6 games in a row, and the team's not going to miss a beat. I think a lot of teams need that guy. They're super important. There's probably only 3-4 guys that play 60+ in the NHL now anyway. So, yeah, that's probably on the wish list for Danny.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Boosh. We appreciate it. We'll revisit this during training camp. That sounds good.
Okay, sounds good.
There he is, Brian Boucher on the Comcast Business Hotline. All right, coming up next, right before Boosh came on, John, I saw a tweet. And the responses to it is exactly my point from earlier this morning as to why people had the negative reaction when the schedule came out yesterday. We'll check text messages on it because we've gone away from it a little bit, and I have to get some more games out of you. But I now have a really good understanding why people were upset when the schedule came out yesterday. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We want to hear from you. So text us at 610-632-09. topic today. When we first started, way back in the 6 o'clock hour, where majority of you were sleeping probably. When we were reacting to the schedule, yesterday when it first came out, John, there was like a lot of negative reaction. Like worry.
Angst.
Like worry.
Would you
angst.
say angst?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you
Angst
saw
is
it.
fair.
I saw it. Gunnar, I don't know what your timeline was looking like. I mean, you have the Delco Go Birds people.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
Oh, yeah.
but like, I saw angst on Twitter yesterday.
I saw a lot of it.
And I said something to you earlier in the show, and I think I now can confirm it.
Okay, what is it?
So we live football daily, doing
All right.
what we do.
All right, well.
We have known the opponents since January.
All right.
We knew that this schedule, once it came out, would be difficult.
Nasty. It's
Yeah.
a nasty schedule.
Now, it's broke out actually in a pretty good way for the Eagles.
I like how it's broken out.
As we've talked about throughout the course of the show.
I really do. I think it's really well broken out.
So Jeff Kerr put out the tweet that the Eagles are the first defending champions in NFL history to not have consecutive home games, and they're the first team to ever face 10 playoff teams in a season.
Okay.
And
That's based on last year, which is the key for everything.
Yes. So I'm just reading the responses because Philadelphia Eagles Central, one of the local aggregators, they tagged Jeff Kerr in it, so it's not like they just completely thieved it like that Philly Daily News thing or whatever it's called. I'm reading the responses. The NFL hates the Eagles. Roger Goodell is doing this.
So stupid.
They're doing this because the Chiefs didn't get their three-peat. They're trying to do whatever they can to hurt the Eagles.
Oh, gosh. Stop.
People don't know
Just stop.
that there is a formula to making the schedule. If you come in first place, you play the first place teams in each division. You play certain divisions one year and other divisions the next year.
It just sounds, God, but it just sounds so weak.
You know the home teams are the teams you're playing at home, and you know the teams that you're playing on the road in January.
Correct.
But there are people that I don't think realize that, John.
But
we have to realize that we know. I'm not saying we know more about sports than you do. But we may know.
Not in that tone.
We
but,
may know
I'm saying it.
We may know the in and outs of certain things about sports more than the casual fan.
I'm just shocked though.
And so I think that's the angst. I think there are people that for the first time saw who they were playing yesterday.
Okay, that could be. Yeah, I mean that could be.
And that could be a bit of a shock.
The idea though is that I also think a lot of it is I don't think people in this town, a lot of them, like being the big dog.
Yeah,
I think they like the stupid underdog.
Yeah, but
crap.
didn't last year feel fun?
I don't like.
They were the big dog in every game.
I think a lot of people like the stupid underdog
Except
stuff.
for what was the Super Bowl? 2.5 or 1.5? Wasn't it? It was close.
It was very close.
Yeah,
but I think people like the underdog stuff. I think they prefer to have nobody likes us. We don't care.
Yeah,
biggest lie ever told in Philadelphia.
But I think that's
because if
what
anybody ever doesn't like us, we can recite their name. We can say the date they said it. And we go, oh, see?
I don't know if that means you care, though.
Yes, it does. If you acknowledge the people that sit there and you can recite off
I liken it to this, right? You get in a fight with your parents, you get grounded, right? You're going to listen to what they say. You're going to try to convince them to unground you. But then you're going to sneak out the back door because you don't care that much about what they have to say.
No, you are worried about, if you're worried about that, oh, my gosh, they didn't pick us. Every Sunday, I wait for it. Look who didn't pick us.
I love that about the fan base.
Oh, my gosh, they didn't pick us to win this week.
Ready to go to war.
The Jalen Hurts looking at the TV when everybody picked the Chiefs. That was awesome.
That was a cool photo.
That was a cool photo.
All right, but so far the majority of our texters have been more negative.
Yeah.
Back-to-back years, Johnny, where we're the beacons of light. What do we have this morning,
understand.
Gunner?
We got, let me get it up for you right here. Not like that.
Jeez.
We got no name on this
It's
one.
a family show.
It's not even 9 o'clock, my man.
Family show. For God's sakes.
The only thing I don't like about the schedule is the no back-to-back home games. I think that's a bummer. Other than that, it looks like a 13-4 season, worst-case scenario.
Who finds that? Like to me, I get
being bummed out.
Why are you bummed out about not back-to-back home games?
Back-to-back tailgates, baby.
Man, we're going to this going to the game today.
Back to back.
Yeah, but we don't get to go to one next week.
Dude, people love their tailgates.
Yes,
man.
but you're going to get the same amount of tailgates.
Oh, no. Because they played in Sao Paulo
They
last year.
get the same amount of tailgates you were going to get.
All right, I got to get another game out of it.
Stop.
'Cause we're almost at the 9 o'clock
We
hour.
are. It's crazy.
And I only got you at 4-1 using logic and statistics.
Yes, it's very good.
I have nothing for this Giants game. It's a Thursday night. Both teams are playing on short rest. One team's good, one team's not.
How about this? It's very simple.
The Giants
are not equipped to play the Eagles on any field at any time or to beat them in any matchup.
All right, win.
So, no, you get them twice. So I just saved you 2 games.
Oh, thanks.
Because they're not equipped to beat them anytime, any place.
All right, now let me ask you this one for the Vikings. It's the second straight road game for the Eagles. That's what I have written down.
The Vikings are going to be a really, really big threat to the Eagles in the NFC. They're at home. They're coming off 2 road games overseas. Vikings win.
All right.
So bad spot for the Eagles. Bad spot for the Eagles.
Entering the bye week, which is week 9, you got them at 6-2.
Okay. I'm pretty comfortable with that. If you're just using logic, that's pretty good with that. I like it.
See, look at what I've been able to do. I have been able to do something like almost biblical.
You mean have logical discussion about the schedule? I like it.
I was able to make John have fun doing something he doesn't like. It's like when we have to go shopping with the wives.
Or like back to school shopping, which I always hated.
Yeah, they go,
I hated that.
But we promise you we'll get you a gumball before you get out of here.
Oh, that's always good.
It's like, oh, okay, then I'll go do that.
There we go.
All right. Coming up next, I will get more games out of you. We'll get more text messages on the angst of the schedule because I think people just may not have known the opponents, even though we've talked about it every single day on this show. But also, regardless of what the NFL decides to do, they will win. John Kincade has the beatdown of ratings.
Oh, my gosh. It's incredible.
Coming up next, it's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A new head coach for the Flyers. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Erie Insurance. Celebrating 100 years of protecting your family's most priceless moments, then, now, always. Erie Insurance, ErieInsurance.com. That's ErieInsurance.com. The search for the Flyers head coach came to an end yesterday when the team hired Rick Tocchet to fill that role. Tocchet spent 11 years of his playing career right here in Philadelphia, and he returns to coach his former team. Tocchet comes to Philadelphia with 9 years of head coaching experience, including the last 3 seasons with the Vancouver Canucks, where he won the Jack Adams Award trophy for the NHL Coach of the Year just 2 seasons ago. A new challenge awaits him, though, here in Philadelphia as the Flyers look to continue that rebuild. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday against the Cardinals. Jesus Luzardo got the start in Game 1, and he was impressive. He got the win, and then the team was on the way to a win early on in Game 2 until Aaron Nola fell apart. He went 3 2/3 innings, struck out not many, allowed 9 earned runs and on 12 hits in 3 2/3. Not good at all. Phils have a day off today before hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, and now we know the road to a repeat for the Eagles as the official schedule came out last night, and they don't have any time to think about it. They hit the ground running to start the season. Cowboys Week 1, Kansas City Chiefs Week 2, Rams Week 3, and the Buccaneers Week 4. This update was also brought to you by Wendy's. With Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 biggie bundles, you choose the pair you want at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the NBA playoffs, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Bill Colarulo.
years old, but sometimes Haley and Brendan make me feel like I'm 100.
I got to tell you this. You make me feel so young.
It's good.
You make me feel so young. Yesterday,
you make me feel like spring is sprung.
Like yesterday,
singing that song just dates you guys because I have no idea what it
like
is.
yesterday, Liv was we were in the car. We were coming back from the Phillies game because she went down with her new company, SEOM Interactive, and they had their day at the Phillies game. So she met me to come home to the house because they left for Disney this morning, and we were listening to Afternoon Show. And she said, Dad, did you see Connor's Instagram? And I said, no, I do not stalk Connor's Instagram.
Got a shirt on this time?
And she said, Connor did something really impressive. And I said, what? And she said, and I said, did he put a shirt on? And she said, no. He got a Pokemon. He completed something on Pokemon that's really impressive. And I went,
God.
Are you freaking serious? So I immediately had to text Connor as he's doing a show to try to distract him. And I'm like, Olivia wants you to know she was really impressed that you completed some Pokemon thing. So my daughter was like, that was really impressive. Dad, you're mocking him, but it was really impressive that Connor did that. Don't mock him. Yeah. Don't mock it just because you didn't try it. I said, that's that stupid thing you did during COVID that I brought you out to do.
Pokemon Go.
I brought her out and did it because I'm a good dad.
Yes, you are.
And we went out and did went out and about because it was so funny because she said, like, Dad, up in Philly, like they're not allowed out. Like in Atlanta, it was mayhem. The Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
It was craziness that people were doing that everywhere. Going search. Well, Connor did something on his Pokemon that nobody else, like she's never been able to do.
Good for Connor.
And he was posting on it. And there was a poll question like, is this impressive or do I need a girlfriend?
By the way, a couple things. One,
I said you need a girlfriend.
How do you not know You Make Me Feel So Young? It's a Frank Sinatra song. Whatever.
Come on. How do you not know that
from
song?
Philly, not New York.
Stop.
I'm Irish. Come on, cuz.
Yeah, you do Irish jigs. Is that what you do on your free time?
Yes.
Another thing, Connor, I think we need to do a wellness check on him.
Why?
So first off, ever since he started doing this afternoon thing, we're dead to him. I haven't heard from the guy.
No, I haven't heard from either.
I haven't heard from the guy.
I know, it doesn't show up to Wednesday night basketball. Like, what kind of idiot doesn't do that?
My knee hurts. Like, okay. Like, all of a sudden he's doing afternoons, and we're literally dead to him.
Yeah, it's like I have
not heard from Connor in 2 weeks. All right? And so yesterday, there was a video that the station posted.
Okay.
About the third overall pick because of the NBA draft lottery. Or maybe it was 2 days ago because today's Thursday.
Okay.
And it was Connor, Silvana, and Ricky, his new friends.
His new friends,
right? And Connor looks like he hasn't slept in a week.
Yeah, he does. And he's working in the afternoon.
That's the thing.
At the moment.
How are you looking tired? He looks more tired doing the 2 to 6 show than he does doing morning.
I don't understand.
He also got something over on his new friends in the afternoon yesterday. He tried to convince the whole city of Philadelphia to root for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that's our best rooting interest. As if Connor's not biased to Minnesota because half his family.
But by the way, you don't have to root for anybody. Don't just watch basketball. Like that's okay. You don't have to have a rooting interest. But honestly, wellness check on the guy that doesn't talk to us anymore because he's got new friends in the afternoon. He looked like crap.
And by the way, if he doesn't realize that we would be more loyal than them,
yeah, just saying.
If he hasn't figured that part out, he's in big trouble.
Just saying.
I mean, seriously.
All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. I'm not joking. Look at the video. He says Ace Bailey had a Rutgers, and for whatever reason, half his mouth goes like this when he says Rutgers because he pretends to be from the South.
I don't know what the hell
Rutgers.
That's about. He's not. Connor's like I lived in the South for 26 years, and Connor's like no Southerner I ever met.
But I'm telling you, his eyes looks like it. Unless he may have been under the weather. I don't know.
He was having a stroke.
But I'm like, yo, dude, get some sleep. You're working afternoons nowadays. Anyways, call number one to the regular line 610-632-0975. We'll get our third of 4 $50 Wendy's gift cards. Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. Again, caller 1 at 610-632-0975, $50 to Wendy's. Okay, so let's get a couple more games in here.
To do logical discussion.
With logical discussion. And then you have to give out the ratings
This
from
is
the NFL.
amazing.
It was unbelievable.
It's an amazing whooping because there's just some people love to spread misinformation.
So we're at 6-2. You are at 6-2. And we just entered the bye week.
By you, yeah, as you orchestrate this.
And again, in case people are just tuning in, this is all based off of statistics. Like John has the Eagles winning week 1 because in the last 20 years, when the NFL started having the Super Bowl champion open up the season,
they win 75% of the time.
The Super Bowl champion is 15-5 in week 1.
And I think the Eagles are considerably better than Dallas. Yeah. So then you throw in 75% winning percentage, I'm fine.
We have West Coast teams traveling east for 1 o'clock games. We have all kinds of logic.
Yes, all kinds of logic.
Now, your 2 losses, Bucks and Vikings. The Bucks because of Hurts and the Eagles' lack of success against Todd Bowles.
They've had terrible success against my college classmate, Todd Bowles.
And then the Vikings are coming back home. The Eagles' second game on the road. You just think it's a bad spot.
I think it's a bad spot.
Right.
I think it's a really bad spot. And I think the Vikings may be their biggest threat in the
You believe in J.J. McCarthy that much?
Yeah, I got to see it first.
I'm going to tell you right now that if a guy, Brock Purdy, can go to 2 NFC title games in his first 2 years, absolutely.
Look, the biggest
I like Vic Fangio against a first-time starter.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it.
You can like who you like. I'm telling you right now is that if you think that Brock Purdy can go to 2 NFC title games in his first couple years, yeah, he absolutely. J.J. McCarthy is a better quarterback coming into the NFL than Brock Purdy.
All right, Packers. It's the Eagles' first game post-bye.
Mm-hmm. Not a good spot, is it?
For the Eagles, it usually is.
That looks like a bad spot. Monday Night Football.
Why is that bad
against
spot?
The Packers?
Off of the bye.
Has Sirianni lost yet?
Packers are a good team.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Packers are a good team, right? They're a really good team. I don't like that spot. Off
of the bye?
No, I really don't like that spot. Don't like it at all. In fact, I'm telling you, I don't like the trip at all. I think it's going to be a loss.
Wow.
I think it's a bad spot. I don't like the spot. It is coming off of coming off the bye.
Wow.
I do not like that night in Lambeau. I think there's a lot of revenge there.
But
losses.
There's no numbers off of that.
The double. Oh no, I think there's a lot of numbers on that. I think this is a Green Bay team that is. Last year they did not win a game against a winning team.
So Jordan Love is elite.
No, Jordan Love is going to win a home game.
I'll be honest, dude. I think you're talking out of your ass.
No,
dude.
No, I think
this is going against John's own logic.
I think Jordan Love is going to win. I think it's the best division in football.
You're sounding like Jim in Norristown.
They are battle tested.
You just got that feeling.
No, battle tested team that last year took their lumps.
Yeah, the Eagles
this year they're going to be healthy, which they weren't last year when they played the Eagles in the playoffs. Which, by the way, they hung with the Eagles for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And the Eagles had to pull it out in the fourth quarter. They were banged up to nothing. They were down 3 wide receivers. Remember that.
But the Eagles have had Matt LaFleur's number. If you're going to apply the same logic to Tampa Bay, the Eagles have dominated the Packers under Sirianni and Matt LaFleur.
If the Eagles were missing A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jahan Dotson for that playoff game.
That kind of happened earlier in the year.
If we were missing all 3 of those for that playoff game versus the Packers, you lose, sir.
Right.
That's a loss.
All right. Wow.
Not a good game. Not a good match. I did not like it
so
when I saw it.
So then what about the bounce back spot the next week? Lions, tough game, man.
No. Tasty.
Really?
Put the Lions on the spit.
You're that one. You're like scared of the cheeseheads, but the Lions, you're like.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. The cheeseheads. I'm not scared of it. I don't like the spot, and I don't like the etiquette. I think the Birds will absolutely be looking to make a statement. And one of the things I love, too, is I don't think the Eagles are going to let anything spiral. Like, I don't think they're going to let losing streaks and big things spiral. Love them against the Lions.
See, now this is amazing. Do you realize that the last 2, he literally just did a W&L? Like, there's no...
Just straight up.
No, it's a perfect matchup.
From Norristown.
Perfect matchup. I don't have any relatives.
Let's go to John and Delco.
I don't think I have any relatives.
Do you think the Lions are going to win this game?
How you's doing? Happy Thursday to everybody out there.
All right, real quick, one more. Do they sweep the Cowboys?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
The Cowboys are not good. The Cowboys and the Giants. I'm giving the Eagles 4 wins.
All right, so we're at 8-3. John is at 8-3. Brendan and I will be at 17-0.
So you're at 8-3.
In a couple of segments.
See right there. That's a pretty good sign.
All right, give us these wild I mean, even though this is kind of
these numbers are freaking wild.
it's kind of every year now at this point. But go ahead, tell the people.
But people keep. There are people who try to talk the NBA up as like the NBA is much more popular than it is. It's not.
I don't hear that anymore.
I absolutely.
It was a couple of years ago.
I hear people.
don't hear it anymore.
I saw even our boy Jamie.
Okay.
Doing this. Get the NFL off. The Christmas Day's about the NBA.
That's nostalgia, though.
Are you
more so
freaking?
than them
Are
wanting
Are
to
you
watch
freaking
it.
nuts? The Christmas Day is about the baby Jesus being born and pigskin. It has nothing to do with round ball.
And here's the thing.
America has spoken.
Here's the thing. Knowing Jamie, he's watching football on Christmas.
America has spoken. They don't give a flip about NBA basketball on Christmas.
Nah, you put it on the table, man.
How about this one for you? The most 100. How about this one for the
100
top?
most
The top
programs.
100 TV broadcast by year for the last 5 years. Top 100 TV
this
broadcasts.
is all last. This is not last
by
year. This is all
over the last 5 years.
Okay.
The NFL has 395 out of 500.
Wow.
The NBA has 0 of them. 0.
Well, and hold on. Let's just not just do NBA. Isn't both baseball and hockey out of it too?
No, is it 0.
Okay. What about
Yeah.
the other sports?
Okay, no, but this is where the NBA is the one that always people argue about.
Oh.
That the NBA is actually a challenger for the NFL. The NFL, by the way, in 2024, if you just go top 72 shows on TV, NFL 72-0. It's a blowout. Stop talking about it.
All right. What about the other sports? Do you have the other sports?
College football dwarfs the NBA.
Right. Is there baseball or hockey in these 500?
Baseball.
What? Probably like 5 of them?
No, like 2.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. And then the rest is Olympics,
Yes.
award shows,
Yes.
and presidential debates and
Presidential
State of the
debates have
Union
fallen in.
addresses,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Any of your soaps in there?
No, but like if you're going to talk like people would say like
Your Price is Right in there?
like people would say, "Hey, did you see? You got to talk about." We had a program director once who was like, "You got to talk about Breaking Bad on your show." And I'd be like, "Do you realize more people watch The Price is Right this week? Do we have to talk about Price is Right?
I hope
Do
not.
you realize more people watched The Young and the Restless this week? Do we have to talk about that? No, you don't have to.
So basically,
hold
you're just
on,
saying the
hold
time
on.
glass is ticking on the NBA and Christmas.
No, it says this, the NBA, move off of Christmas. You've been punked. You've been punked. Move off. Go to December 26th. Find Boxing Day. Call it Boxing Day.
Festivus.
That's my
Can they-
birthday.
can they
No,
get
that's
ba-
my birthday.
Oh, God forbid.
You
they
cannot
play
have my
basketball
birthday.
on John Kincaid's
December
birthday.
23rd. You cannot have that.
God.
Can't have that
league was
either.
shut down on John Kincaid's birthday.
You cannot have that either.
All right, coming up next, I continue to get more games. Also, I read an article earlier this week. It's like, one of these trade ideas for teams in the NBA. I think this one will put John's brain to pretzel. And I can't
That's
wait.
a tribute to our boy Jamie.
And I can't wait for it. Because it might be hard for you to answer. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli
There's no way that you're going to get me to buy into this Embiid Paul George thing. I can't do it.
talking about.
Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
It is 9:14 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, I have an NBA trade that I want to give here in a second because I think it's going to, confuse you a little bit.
It is?
I think so.
Okay.
But real quick.
Well, is it totally illogical? Because that does.
No.
When it's not logical, it does confuse me.
No, it's not totally illogical. By the way, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our listeners on, obviously in their cars or on their apps or on YouTube.
We love that. Thank you very much.
Regardless how much you might hate listen.
Why? What's someone doing now? Nothing? There's nothing behind that little thing? It sounded passive aggressive.
Nothing.
That's not like you.
None.
Okay.
Say a lot of complaining.
Just sound a little passive aggressive.
Complain, yeah.
The YouTube chat's complaining?
Wow.
Well, shocker.
I'll just say,
that's usually such a positive haven of just.
I appreciate all of
very
that.
positive haven of stuff.
I appreciate all our listeners and people think I don't look.
That sounds as very positive.
That's all.
Usually, that's shocking.
I appreciate all of our listeners.
It's usually just
that's all.
Goodwill and friendly, loving,
and they really appreciate
positivity.
You, Johnny.
That's great. It's very positive. I love that. It's just very, very loving people.
One thing I saw was that we hate fans having fun because that's why we're not getting the disappointment in back-to-back home games.
What does that mean?
All I'm going to say is when we break down the schedule and stuff, we're looking at it from a football standpoint, not wow, this could be fun.
Can you imagine? It's you're pulling up to the tailgate going, man, this is going to be a great game today. This is awesome. Dude, but you know what? We don't get to
If
come
we're
next
breaking it
week.
down like that, we should say, why isn't the first 2 months of the season just all home games so we can get warm weather tailgates?
You know what Eagles fans complained about last year? Is that they had no tailgates in the first 2 months. And then they had a bunch of tailgates in the cold weather.
And
the tailgates were lopsided. This is beautifully spaced out.
Yeah.
And now people are going to complain about it. Because you know what's strange? And it's strange that that's coming from the YouTube chat. They found something to complain about with a schedule where it's very spaced out. Where wait a minute. We've got 2 tailgates in September. Wait a minute. We have 2 tailgates in October. Wait a minute. We have a tailgate. Wait a minute. 2 tailgates in November. And then 2 tailgates at the end. We actually have it beautifully spaced out.
Not to mention a Black Friday tailgate.
I mean, seriously. It's there's nothing to freaking complain about. But you know what?
It's pretty nice.
We can actually find something to complain about.
It's actually pretty nice.
I'm convinced. People can. If you're not convinced, people can find something to complain.
Subscribe on YouTube. Watch post-show headlines.
I love the. My daughter was saying yesterday she saw this thing about that talking about purses, and one of her friends sent her a little thing about purses.
Okay.
She's like, "No guy, Dad." I was like, "You don't care about purses." My daughter doesn't care about purses. My wife likes purses.
Okay.
My daughter, she's like, "Mom, I don't care about purses." She goes, "No guy has ever said, man, that girl is ugly, but wow, look at the purse." Because no guy cares that. And I'm like, I agree. I don't care. I've never looked at a woman's purse. And my wife goes, "They're not for you. Who cares? And why are you even getting involved in this conversation?" So, of course, I get in trouble.
Of course.
Inserting myself into the conversation. But my daughter was like, nobody cares about no guy cares about purses.
What did that have to do with anything?
No, I'm just saying people can find something to complain about. You're finding stuff to complain about.
Oh, okay.
My God, it's a beautiful schedule for tailgating.
All right, let me ask.
It's spread out.
Let me give you this trade proposal that CBS did.
What did they say?
I'm curious to see where you fall on this. Okay. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just curious to see if you would do it. So forget the whether you think it would happen.
All right.
The Sixers trade the 3rd overall pick.
All right.
And get Kevin Durant. However, and you want to stay young. I know you do. You have said.
I want young.
You have said very loud and clear that you don't want to get older.
No, this thing is.
Hold on.
Terrible.
Well, Paul George has also moved.
Ooh.
So that means you get his contract off the books, but you're getting rid of your 3rd overall pick.
Okay, wait a minute.
So now you're going all in, win now, which you don't want to do. You have been adamant that you don't want to do that.
Whoa. Okay, can you tell me what Kevin Durant's contract is?
Doesn't he have 1 year left? Hold on. Kevin Durant signed the 4-year deal with the Nets and then, of course, goes to the Suns. He has this year and next year, so 2 years left.
I am absolutely in on that.
Interesting.
I'm in on it because I could absolutely flip Kevin Durant and still save the.
Why are you trying to flip Kevin Durant?
No, because what am I thinking is I'm not believing that Joel Embiid is going to be healthy necessarily, but on the off chance that he is, I could potentially see that work out. So if it worked out, that would be really exciting and intriguing, and I would be much more excited about seeing Embiid play with Kevin Durant than I would be about seing Embiid play with Paul George.
It's insanity to me. It's just the same old hamster wheel,
No,
dude.
but the thing is, no, because you're out from under
you'd have 3
Paul
years
George,
left
you
of
have
Paul
3
George.
years, so you're getting out from under. That's why I
If the
said
Suns value Paul George as somebody that can help them build
they value the third overall pick.
They value the third overall pick.
And Durant's going to be out, right? Like it's going to happen.
So what I'm saying is that to me, I would absolutely consider that. No question, I'd consider that.
Wow.
I would
surprised.
because of the fact
nervous.
because I would go, hey, I'm going to be out from under the max money stuff.
See, the stipulation would have to be that they would try to move off Kevin Durant, too. Like, if they try to win with Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid, it's just the same old thing.
Wait a minute. You have to try to win with. You have to look.
That's ridiculous.
Guess what?
It's insanity.
We think it is, but we're not the guy making the call, so we have to agree with it. We can't look. You could sit there and bitch and scream at the moon, but you can't. But when they're not changing their mind, so you can either go along with it or just sit and complain about it.
If you're
going along with it,
if you're going to try to win with Kevin Durant and give up the third pick overall, that's stupid.
But here's the deal. You're doing it to help get out from under the Paul George contract, which has three more seasons after this.
Yes.
You're getting out of it 2 years early.
Are you going to find yourself in a top 3 pick again where you can get somebody of that caliber to build for the future?
I think that you're going to be able to find somebody who's willing to give you something for Kevin Durant that you can flip him for a young asset and maybe some picks to recap some of the picks you've lost.
Stanley on our YouTube
Paul
chat.
George isn't getting you draft picks. Kevin Durant will get you draft picks.
Stanley on our YouTube chat, because now I'm looking.
What's up, Stan?
Durant is an old fart. Keep the third pick.
Wow.
Old fart.
I don't think there's any like drop dead talent.
You're not getting an asset better than the third overall pick in any trade for Kevin Durant if somebody wants him, and you're not going to win anything with Kevin Durant.
I'm telling you, you're wrong on that because you're going to be able to.
Dude, he's like 36 and decrepit.
Yes, but
he's not decrepit.
But
he's missed like 39 games per season the past like 4 years.
You can move somebody.
He played 62 games last year, 75 games the year before that.
See, you're wrong on that. And plus, you can move. Get
3
somebody
years before that, though.
He played 8. Yeah, 3
now
years
you're going to
ago.
go back there.
No,
you can move.
He's played more games than Paul George.
Somebody can move all that, and you get 2 years less of Paul George.
All right, coming up next, we got to get the rest of these W's and L's in the way that you are okay with.
You've done a pretty nice job with it.
I got you at 8-3. Gunner, you and I will do it the real way soon. All right,
17-0.
It is Kincade Salciunas on this Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers got a new guy in charge as the head coach. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. With Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles, you choose the pair you want at participating U.S. Wendy's. The Flyers' search for their new head coach came to an end yesterday when the team hired Rick Tocchet. Tocchet spent 11 years of his playing career right here in Philadelphia, and now he returns to coach his former team. Tocchet comes to Philadelphia with 9 years of coaching experience, including the last 3 seasons with the Vancouver Canucks, where he won the Jack Adams Award for the NHL Coach of the Year just 2 seasons ago. A new challenge awaits him, though, right here in Philadelphia as the team looks to continue their rebuild. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday against the Cardinals. Jesus Luzardo got the start in Game 1. He was impressive, ended up with the win, and the team was on their way to a win early in Game 2, but then Aaron Nola became, Aaron Nola this year. Went 3 2/3 innings, allowed 9 earned runs on 12 hits. The Phils have a day off today before hosting the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, and we now know the road to a repeat for the Eagles as the official schedule as came out yesterday, and they won't have any time to ramp up, as the Sixers like to say. Starts out with Cowboys week 1, Chiefs week 2, Rams week 3, and the Buccaneers week 4. It'll be tough sledding from the get-go. This update was also brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. The NFL schedule was just rolled out. Book your epic Birds away game now on phillysportstrips.com. They sell out fast. That's phillysportstrips.com. I'm Brendan Gunn on the hum of the NBA playoffs. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
argue.
Do you like it when they getting excited in here? But Gunner.
You guys are just going after it about, this Kevin a proposed
Kevin
theoretical
Durant,
trade.
You get him here. I understand you move Paul George's contract. You're not winning anything with Kevin Durant and Embiid. It's just insanity. Let's roll out every veteran presence that's ever on the trade market. Let's theorize him coming to Philadelphia. You know what happens? They suck.
Gunner,
they suck. No matter what.
Here's the false premise you're working under, though. And I'm going to say it to you slowly. The Sixers aren't winning anything next year.
Hey, you don't know that.
Don't let Andrew or Connor or anybody else trick you into. Okay, they're not winning anything next year.
You get Kevin Durant here. I have to hear the hysteria. I'm back in. I'm so good. They're going to get a top 3 seed in the East. No Jason Tatum in the East anymore.
Get it through your head. That is not happening. So if you just get into that mindset, you need to think about the future, and it would be better. Anything that gets PG-13 out of town gets him out of town.
How do you go about rebuilding this team if you're giving up the 3rd overall pick?
Oh, my gosh.
You're just going to bring in...
I've explained it to you. You're not listening to me.
But it doesn't...
It helps you jumpstart that process.
I don't think it does.
It does, because it gets you an opportunity to get better assets, and it gets Paul George's contract off the books.
What better assets are you getting back?
Because if you try to trade Paul George, nobody wants him. If you try to trade Kevin Durant, it does.
I don't know.
Somebody would want him.
I think you're overvaluing what you can get from Kevin Durant at age 36 and then 37 at that point.
You thought he was decrepit till you talked to your AI.
Yeah, well, AI and Google.
You got to check your Google machine again. You're really off on these things.
Are the Eagles beating the Bears? Do you have any?
The Bears have no shot to come in here and beat them.
All right, W.
They're not beating them. That's a great spot for the Eagles.
All right, so
great spot for the Eagles.
You're at 9-3. The rest of these, I believe, I have actual questions behind.
Yeah, there are some actual questions.
All right, so Eagles.
By the way, there is a loss on there too.
Eagles Chargers. The Eagles will be on 10 days rest.
That is a beautiful spot.
But they're also traveling west for an 8 p.m. game. I know the east to west is not
Monday Night Football. It's Monday Night Football, but you get the 10 days rest built in. I'm not concerned about that at all.
The only thing I think about is the 8 o'clock is 11 o'clock here.
I'm not worried about that at all because of the time change. And I think Nick Sirianni's smart enough.
It'll be 5 o'clock there. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And Nick Sirianni's smart enough to bring them out a day early. So he'll bring them out Saturday. He'll bring them out. That is a team that is going to try to beat the Eagles at their own game, and they won't. They're not going to out-physical the Eagles.
Not going to.
They're not. I love the matchup against the Chargers because they're going to try to beat the Eagles by being the Eagles. They win that game. So you've just told me right there, there's a Bears win, there's a Chargers win. Those are two philosophy games where the Eagles beat them at their own philosophy. And then don't even talk to me about the Raiders.
Yeah,
they're not ready to win that
they
game.
stink. Also,
they're not
West
ready to
Coast
win that
team
game.
Traveling east.
And that's another 1 o'clock. By the way, 1 o'clock games. You got 3 of them.
All 3 of your West Coast teams that are traveling to the Eagles
huge
for
advantage.
1 o'clock games. That means it's 10 a.m. their time. You have them winning all 3 of those.
That's a huge advantage.
That's the Rams.
Yep.
The Raiders, as we talked about. Who was the other one?
Broncos. Yep.
That's 2-hour time difference, Denver? I think
Denver's 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so now we're down to the last 3. Commanders, Bills, Commanders. You have already said that you believe your bold prediction was that the Eagles will not be playing their starters in Week 18.
They will not be.
So they're at...
So what did you surmise by that?
I put down L because maybe the Commanders are still playing for a playoff spot and the Eagles will not be playing.
And I would surmise that could be logical. The Eagles are not playing their starters Week 18, and I'm very bold and beautiful with that.
Okay, so...
Because the Eagles will have won the division in Week 16. That is when they will win the division.
By beating the Commanders?
Yes.
All right.
They will win the division, but they won't win at Buffalo.
Okay. So you have them going 12-5, which is what we have said would be a great season.
I think it's a great season.
So you really like this schedule because...
I love this schedule.
Just looking at the opponents, we said, again, before yesterday's schedule came out, that a 12-win season with the opponents that they have to face...
I think it worked out, but I could...
crazy.
But
crazy
the thing is I believe that you could have given me a different order of this schedule.
Oh, and it would have been different for you.
And I could have told you that it wouldn't have been as good.
Totally get it.
I love the way the schedule broke.
What if the Rams came here, but it was an 8 o'clock game? Would that be different?
Yes. I feel totally different. Absolutely different. I feel completely different about that.
All right.
I mean, I'm feeling really happy about it.
So John Kincade anti-W's and L's. I got him at 12-5.
But very logic.
Back-to-back years, by the way, I got you at 12-5.
By the way, I love the betting. I love the betting angle of it. The 1 o'clock games for the West Coast teams. I love the logic on that big time. Plus, the Eagles are distinctly better than every one of those teams coming in. Well, the Rams, I think, are one of the handful of teams in the NFC that could be a challenger. But the Eagles are better.
All right, we have 1 minute, Gunner. All right.
Get after it.
Eagles, Cowboys, go Birds!
W,
go Birds!
Listen, he even did the W.
All right, we're both at 1-0. John gives us 1 minute to have fun. Birds, Chiefs in Arrowhead.
L.
I do as well.
Yeah.
And no logic behind it.
And you know what? You two weasels are going to do what you did last year,
And
like
change-
with the Packers,
change last
like
second.
Packers week,
Yeah.
and then Packers week by Friday you'll be like, "Oh, I know I said it all year long, but now I'm going to change my pick because I'm too much of a coward."
Andy Reid's going to walk off the field going, I don't hear you now, Eagles
Guys are
fans.
such cowards.
Eagles, Rams.
W.
Win. Screw you, Sean McVay,
W.
you little punk, and your anti-tush-push rhetoric.
He could
and you
break
know
you
what?
in half.
The Eagles will actually be hydrated and healthy and beat the Bucks when we're down there, potentially, Johnny. What do
That'd
you got?
be nice.
I got a W on that one.
All right, so we're both at 3-1. Broncos win. Bo Nix. Bo this.
Yeah, I'll tell you they're winning all the way through the bye
Him and
week.
Paul Skeens need to get a double endorsement.
The Vikings. You have them. Yeah, I'm not.
Dude, Vic Fangio gets a first-year starter. I think
Yeah.
that's advantage Eagles in that one.
I'm with you. And I had them beating the Packers out of the bye. But I'll have them losing to the Lions.
Yeah, I flipped that. But same record.
Okay. Eagles, they sweep the Cowboys. Screw the Cowboys.
See, I don't know. I gave them a loss, dude.
I see. That's a typical Philadelphia.
That's
there.
Come on, you split with the Cowboys.
Eagles beat the Bears. Dude, I'm at 17-1. No, I
You see
gotta.
how stupid this exercise is?
I know.
I went 12-5.
That's why we don't do this. Yeah, I gotta change things up.
But I got to convince myself to give them a loss here or there because I'm like, it's not real.
Well, I did that last year. Remember, last year I had them at 13-4, and I said that can't be. So I just changed 2 on purpose, and I made it 12.
Yeah, that's what I just did.
Yeah. All right, I got to think about this a little bit more.
You see, that's what you don't do
Go
with these.
Birds, man. That's why we did it in 1 minute for you,
That's
Johnny.
good. I said it's very good there.
All
That
right,
was good.
Coming up next, we got our key 3. But also, I saw so many random stories that I just wanted to get to, and I was wondering if Gunner would have any of these in headlines, and he didn't. So we're gonna do a headlines 2.0, but I'm gonna host it. Damn it! Thanks to our friends at Lundy Law. All right, it's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Connor Thomas.
If you're an opposing team, how do you consistently beat the Philadelphia?
97.5 The Fanatic. My official record also 12-5, Johnny. Now that I thought about it a little bit more.
Wow. Okay. So now you've gone on and changed?
Well, I mean, we were just going through it. 1 minute, that's not enough time to think. 4 minutes is, though. I have them losing the first Commanders game. I do believe they will be playing in Week 18. So I don't agree with you there. And that's okay. I love your bold prediction.
Yeah, I don't like it because of the fact of, again, the matchup. At some point, I do believe the pride. And you lost, remember, that playoff game last year, it does matter that they were missing 3 wide receivers. And that game was a 6-point game.
No, I'm talking about the Commanders.
No, I'm saying there's games, though, I'm talking about every game out there.
I got you. Yeah.
There's games that matter.
Yeah.
The Commanders game, I can't wait.
I have them splitting with the Commanders.
I can't wait.
I got them 20.
No, I haven't split with the Commanders, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But you have them losing the game where they're not playing anybody.
Yeah, they're not playing anybody because the Commanders are going to be one of. There's another team in the NFC that's not going to be what everybody says they're going to be. I'll tell you about it tomorrow.
All right. I like that. All right. I have 3 random stories to get to before the key 3 are 3 best minutes from today's show. And they're all like relatable for everybody. So that's why I feel comfortable doing it.
Very similar? Okay.
Well, no, they're not relatable. Like, we can relate to all the stories.
Okay.
The first one, R.I.P., man. The Gator from Happy Gilmore.
No.
Yeah.
No, really?
Morris.
Really?
Morris the Gator.
I did not know that.
That bit Chubbs' hand off.
Really?
The actual
I had
Gator.
this. I don't know why I didn't bring it up.
The actual Gator.
I did not know that.
Passed away. Adam Sandler put out a big, long tweet. A lot of people, rightfully so, responded with the at the end of Happy Gilmore. Remember Chubbs and the Gator?
Yes.
And Abe Lincoln, for whatever reason,
And
were
Abe Lincoln.
Hey, Happy. They're waving to him.
Right.
So the actual Gator, I think the Gator was like 50 or 60 years old.
80
years
Wow.
old. The actual Gator, Morris, died yesterday.
And where was Morris living?
Somebody, like, you remember that emotional pet Gator we had here?
No.
No, not
Really?
that guy. But there was somebody
the Colorado Reptiles Gator Park.
Yeah, he
Really?
was actually at a Gator Park, but he was somewhat trained as you can train a gator.
Also starred in Dr. Dolittle 2.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know there was a second one. The first one was so horrendous.
About that.
By the way, they have one of these in Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to Fort Lauderdale later this summer.
That's cool.
Go see that you go on the Jungle Queen, and then you go watch the guys put their heads in the gator's mouth. And I root for the gators. Because I'm like, it's seriously, it's terrible. It's like animal abuse.
Dude, he was also in, speaking of horrible sequels, he was in the Blues Brothers 2000 movie.
The Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah, you ever
I
see
didn't
that?
even know. I did not.
Oh, dude, it's horrible.
Really?
Horrible.
I didn't even know that.
You didn't know there was it was called Blues Brothers 2000.
Who was in that?
Hold on.
Don't tell me Jim Belushi did it to mooch off his brother's legacy.
John Goodman.
John Goodman.
Yeah,
Well,
because Dan Aykroyd was still in it.
Well, John Goodman's willing to mooch off anybody's legacy.
But yeah,
at any time.
That was he was in that movie too.
Wow.
So he was in dozens of movies. So there's one. Everybody knows Happy Gilmore, and the second one's coming out soon. This story is amazing. An NYU professor was able to find a way to create assignments that AI and ChatGPT have yet to be able to figure out.
Yeah, like Kevin Durant's missed games.
Well, you figured that one out. Your Google machine couldn't figure that one
Google
out.
told me 39 average the last 3 years.
His students all complained.
What?
Oh, do you not know?
Wait a minute. His students complained. What did they complain about?
Oh, dude, every college kid in the world is just using ChatGPT right now.
No, I do know that. I actually, having done that.
I'm sure
but,
you've dealt with it.
I said there's because the smart professors have the technology that then says if you use it, they can scan it.
So here's an article from the Chronicle of Higher Education. Earlier this semester, an NYU professor told me that he had AI proofed his assignments only to have the students complain that the work was too hard. NYU, by the way, it's a good university. When he told them that those were standard assignments just worded so current AI would fail to answer them, they said he was interfering with their, quote, learning styles. A student asked for an extension on the grounds that ChatGPT was down the day the assignment was due. Another said about work on a problem set, quote, you're asking me to go from point A to point B. Why wouldn't I use a car to get there? And another one asked about their largely AI written work replied, everyone's doing it.
That's unbelievable. That's truly unbelievable.
Like, I'm not that far removed from college, right? It hasn't been 10 years since I graduated.
What I would tell you is that Olivia had multiple college professors where the professor had to say to their students,
yeah,
I never want your parents to contact me. You are grown men and women.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear from your parents about a grade, about anything. You come to me. Literal kids in college having their parents go, why did my kid get a B on this paper? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, what's up with your generation?
It's believable.
It's your generation's fault.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, don't blame me.
All right, last one, because people like to rip the media.
Kid didn't do it.
People like to rip the media that just says things to say things, and I totally get it.
Okay.
Yesterday, Keyshawn Johnson was on, his Fox show.
Okay.
And I like Keyshawn.
I don't know. Does he have a show anymore? I didn't know he had a show.
He's on Fox.
Okay.
They were asking whether or not the Pacers would be able to play in the Garden. And, would this even be a series if the Knicks were to win?
Okay.
And he said, no shot. They're not used to that.
What happened?
To which somebody responded, the Pacers won Game 7 in the Garden last year by 21 points.
Yeah, they knocked him out
last year.
In the Eastern Conference semis.
Last year.
Last year.
In Game 7 in the Garden.
Yes.
There's people that just say things.
Yes, because people believe what they believe.
No, there's no way they'd win in the Garden. They won Game 7 in the Garden last year.
Well, look, there's people who believe.
I'm not asking you to go back to Reggie Miller. I'm asking you to go back to Tyrese Halliburton last year.
Yeah, there's people who talk about Citizens Bank Park. It's the best home field advantage in all of sports. No, it's not.
It was for that little tiny
22
of time.
22? The two biggest games, they got skunked. They got no hit in one, and then it was nothing.
Hey, 4 hours
went
of
out
hell.
with a whimper. 23, the two biggest games, they went out with a complete
best home
whimper.
field advantage doesn't mean you win every game.
That's a good point.
The biggest games,
it gives you the biggest advantage.
No, the biggest games, it meant nothing.
All right.
It meant nothing.
It is time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
We were the beacons of light, and it
Yes.
started with you when you said the day after the schedules were released that we will have plans on the NFC Championship date, which was January the 26th. I still remember.
And I told you that you guys were going to have a NFC title game pregame show.
And that we
Now,
did.
I didn't make any more predictions than that.
Yes.
I looked at it and I said,
You're a bit of a coward.
I said the Eagles are going to be a Final Four team. And by the way, now people weren't joining me.
Oh, no, you got attacked.
I got attacked. I got mocked.
Pom shaker.
Oh, I was getting
green
mocked.
colored glasses.
I was getting mocked.
All kinds of stuff. And then all of a sudden the history's rewritten where it was, no, I always thought they were going to be good. You guys were the ones that...
You people are turning against us. Well, no. Nobody's being turned
It was amazing. The world was upside down last year. So, what's your bold prediction this year?
My bold prediction for the 2025 Eagles season. Everybody is clutching their pearls over the fact that they play the Commanders twice in the last 3 weeks.
Which is weird.
And Buffalo in the middle of it. I'm here to tell you, Week 18 for the Eagles will mean nothing against the Commanders at home. Do not put all your eggs into buying tickets to the Commanders game because the Commanders will not live up to expectations this year. Week 18 will not be for the division title. And the Eagles will be resting starters getting ready for their playoff run. If you're worried about Week 18, when you're picking that one game you want to load up on to buy your tickets for, do not make it Week 18 because Week 18, the Eagles will be resting starters. Book it. I told you last year to do something, and if you listened to me, it was smart.
Would you agree with the math and the statistics and predict the Eagles to win Week 1?
Yeah, I would agree that the Dallas Cowboys are not that good. I'm looking at it that way, too, is that I'm looking at it that the Dallas Cowboys are a good team, and they will be improved this year, but the Dallas Cowboys won't be what they were last year, the dumpster fire they will be. But the Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champions, and the Dallas Cowboys are not that good. Absolutely, but to be totally comfortable in thinking that we are not walking out of the building on September 4th upset.
W.
Yeah, I'm not in the least bit concerned about that that one. And I don't think that's even playing the stupid W's and L's game.
We're going to go to a real hockey guy on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. Former goalie for your Philadelphia Flyers, and of course part of the NBC Sports Philadelphia broadcast team, and nationally as well. Brian Boucher joins us. Bouch, good morning, man. How you doing?
Morning, guys. How you guys doing? Talk has been around the block, and he's so well respected around the league by everybody, from ex-players to current players to coaches, managers, media, all alike. I mean, this is a terrific hire for the Flyers, and I think bringing a guy that knows what it's like to be a Flyer, that has been molded into who he is by being a Flyer early on in his career, I think it's a home run for the Flyers.
Did you get any sort of instant reaction or instant feeling from the schedule? Worry, confidence, excitement, whatever. Like whatever that initial wave of emotion that you got when you went through it, did you feel any sort of type of way? All right, that's a Kincade Salciunas Key 3. I just found a new game. I didn't realize during the Key 3, we've been on YouTube for 302 shows.
And we didn't even realize that it was on there?
For 302 shows during the Key 3, we are on camera.
So you didn't realize it's like that?
You guys didn't know that?
No, not during the Key 3.
All those times you guys are picking your noses, picking your wedgies. Yeah, right on there.
So
the wedgie.
I have a new game. And somebody just asked me why I'm crashing out. I'm not. It's in honor of Tony Reale. Because
Tony Reale always does that.
Around the Horn's going to be done soon.
Stop stealing my headlines for May 23rd.
Oh, it's for May 23rd.
May 23rd. And
are they bringing back every single person that caused the show to be canceled?
Probably not that. What was his name? Mariucci. Yeah, I think he did a couple crazy things.
I didn't know if they're bringing back every single person that caused the show to be canceled, that caused America to turn it off.
Well,
they're bringing them back so they can do more things that cause America to turn it off?
I'm just going to try to have fun here and not get to that.
Well, you know what? When the show was about having fun and doing that, people loved it. They watched it. They enjoyed it.
Sorry, MBD. Sorry,
Yes.
Neil. MBD was wondering why I was crashing out. So we have a camera up at the ceiling.
Yes.
And so what I'm going to do is at the end of each show, I will rip up the show sheet one page at a time and try to throw it toward the camera.
And you are getting a haircut today, right?
Yes, that's why I took my hat off. I never realized for 302 shows that we are on camera during the Key 3. I've been doing a lot of weird things, man.
Well, one of our listeners.
And by the way, Neil, I knew MBD before you did.
One of our listeners did say that Andrew should keep the hat on. Because when you put the hat on.
Yeah, I know. It looks horrible.
Yeah, it looks like Mo from the Three Stooges.
I know. Last 3 minutes of the show.
He said it looked like Mo from the Three Stooges.
I look like a lunatic.
That's where Chris gets his dirt on you.
Because your hair looks good.
They say mean things.
When your hair is well groomed, it's well groomed.
Yeah.
And then when you put a hat on, your hair looks terrible.
I go 2.5 months before cutting my hair.
You do go a long time with that, which is a bit crazy. So, hey, look, life-saving cancer research, it can help save your life. FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning, I thank you for making a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. Do it at 975thefanatic.com/AACR, because cancer research saves lives.
All right, everybody have a great rest of your day. Tomorrow's a Friday.
It's going to
be
beautiful.
That. We saved the topic from today for tomorrow that I'm really looking forward to.
Oh, tomorrow too?
Yep, can't wait.
There are other teams that have gauntlets.
Ooh.
We don't.